ear my beats, they are hard.
All right. Hello. Welcome to another edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan Fulford and A.D. Drew here on a Sunday night. I guess
we're back.
Welcome back to Sundays. Welcome back football. Welcome back to the SportsWrap on Sunday night. I guess this is where, after much debate, I tried to get us to move to Monday, but Drew just wasn't having it. So I guess we're gonna be stuck on Sundays.
Either stuck on Sunday or stuck on stupid. One of the two.
Whatever. We'll just be what we're gonna be. Be a Sunday show, 6 o'clock. So that's when you can count on us. Here, let me put my phone there on so it's not beeping during the show. How you doing tonight, man? What's good? Have you got your feel of the Olympics?
Oh yeah, I've got my deep feel of the Olympics as my screen just went out, but it's back on now. Yeah, I got my deep feel of the Olympics. Watch that, bruh. Did you watch the 100?
Oh, did I? Plus 500, baby. Noah Lyles. Yes, sir. Winner, chicken dinner. Hell yeah, I was watching it.
I mean, that was the quickest 10 seconds of your life was determined by 100th of a second.
A nose, a head nod. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was a nose and a head nod. That's what it was right there.
And from the naked eye, I thought the Jamaican guy got him.
No. If you didn't have any,
when you watched the first run through,
I could see it.
Yes,
I can understand if you didn't have any stakes in the game, but I was watching and I had stakes in the game, and I had a good thought that I was like, yeah, he got him by a head nod. So I was pleasantly, I was pumped. It made up for a horrible day with some wagers, and so it saved me from really going into the toilet. So I was happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we gotta wait to see
the race. Look, whatever. The torso, the head nod. I don't know what I knew, because it so that's a great clarification. I appreciate that, Blue Jacket for Life. That it's the torso. So I'll go back and look at it again, but I thought it was the forehead. But anyway, okay, his torso made it. So okay. Props.
Yeah.
Props to Noah Lyles. Coming home. Plus 500, Drew. Cha-ching.
Right. And now we got to wait and see if the USA women get the number 1 seed or not. I believe they had to wait on
number 1 seed in what sport? You got to be
basketball going to the medal round.
You don't think they're going to be the 1 seed? How would they not be the 1 seed?
Goes by point differential. So what was that? Wednesday night,
points.
Thursday night, whatever day that was, where people were upset about the USA taking the shot, even though the game was out of reach, and then playing defense and blocking the shot. There was a reason why they were doing that. And whoever number 2 is still has a realistic shot of having a bigger point differential than the US.
Okay.
Yeah. There's somebody in one of the other pools who's undefeated. don't recall who it is, but they definitely have a shot of catching the U.S. tonight, especially when you know what the number is. Last person up, the number, you know what you got to do.
It's the France women's team.
I thought it was French. I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought it was France. So France does have a chance to catch the U.S. tonight.
But speaking, since you started with the tournament seedings for basketball, I'm gonna take you over to the men's basketball tournament. Have you seen the release of the pairings yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. Obviously, on one side of the bracket, USA is on one side of the bracket.
Canada should be on the other.
Who would you presume to be the other two? This is pre-tournament, right? Who would you presume to be the other two top teams, or two? Who would you consider to be team 2 and team 3?
I would say Canada and France.
Okay, so and they're in different pools. All of them are in different pools, right? All 3 different pools. Somehow, this is crazy. The quarterfinals on the other side of the bracket, away from USA, you have France and Canada playing in a quarterfinal match, not even a semifinal. I have no idea.
Did they? Somebody had to lose.
No, nobody's. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think France or lost
because it goes by record first, and then margin. So one of them had to lose a game. Because
Really?
1, 2, 3 should be 3-0 teams.
Hold on. I'm gonna just type in Olympic basketball schedule. Who lost? That's the part that I don't understand, because that would have made news, I think. I'm looking here. Oh, France went 2-1. Who did France lose to? Thank you. Blue Jacket for Life is on it, man. I appreciate you, brother. Who did France
lost
lose
Australia. They lost Australia today.
Today? Did they really?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the women. I'm sorry. That was the women.
Let me see. I'm looking at France.
No,
right?
They lost to Germany. They lost to Germany Friday.
Who's on Germany's team? Is that the team with the? Oh yeah, they lost 86-71. That's the team that has what's the guy? Dennis Schroeder. I'm just looking at some of the names on the French on that team. I have no idea who's on that. Oh, they got Wagner. They got Wagner. They got the Wagner boys from Orlando Magic. That's what it is. Germany blew them out. Okay. Damn. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's a shocker. I didn't see that. And so yeah, the two teams who I would have thought that could have challenged the US, Canada and France, have to play each other in the first round quarterfinal matchup. Somebody's going home. That'll be an interesting match, interesting game.
Yes. And let's see, Australia beat France today in Group B, so that should give the U.S. the number 1 seed now. Yeah, I believe France was the team that we had to stay ahead of.
Yeah, so we gotta. So on that side of the bracket, on the other, the interesting games are on the other side, right? You got Germany versus Greece. That's Giannis in Greece, and then of course, as I mentioned, you got France versus Canada. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that I think Canada's a loaded squad. And then you got, of course, Wemby and Gobert and the other guy, former Orlando Magic player. I can't think of his name right now. He plays for France. And then USA will play Brazil. Apparently, Brazil is a high 3-point shooting team. They're playing in the quarterfinals, and then Serbia and Australia play. So you could end up with another USA versus Serbia matchup. Of course, Jokic plays for Serbia in the semifinals, right?
Yes.
And wow, so that's all starting Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah. So
and the women begin on Wednesday.
Women begin on Wednesday. Yeah, quarterfinals, women on Wednesday. US plays Nigeria. How about that? Nigeria becoming the first. I even got hold on while we're into it, Drew.
You got the women's you got the women's schedule?
I got the women's schedule, but first off,
Oh,
let me
I
give
don't
a
have the
shout out
women's
to
schedule.
Nigeria, the first African basketball team, men or women, to reach the Olympic quarterfinals. How about that? And of course, got to give a shout out to Savannah State's Azine Kalu Phelps. She, of course, right there on the top right from Nigeria, played for Savannah State. Yeah. So, okay. So the brackets over on the women's side. Let's see. We've got
Nigeria, United States.
Yeah, Nigeria versus the United States. And then
Serbia,
Germany and France.
Austria. Serbia, Austria.
Serbia and Austria, Spain and Belgium. So I believe Germany and France are on the same side of the bracket as Nigeria and the U.S. And then on the other side, you have Spain and Belgium, Serbia, and Australia. So, yeah, exactly. So, yes, Nigeria's best player, of course, as I already mentioned, young lady from Savannah State. So shout out to her. While Drew's taking care of something, I'm going to say hello to everybody who's jumped in and joined us early on YouTube. If you're watching us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page, we say hello to you. That's at MyJBN Online. In case you happen to be watching us on X or Instagram Live, we say hello to you. Come on over and join us in the chats. Some good conversation always happening. You might even be watching us on Facebook, watching us on the Black College Sports Network Facebook page or our BCSN SportsWrap Facebook page as well. So, we definitely want to say hello. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would for us. Real early in the show, we thank you. Go and hit that thumbs up and the like button. Please follow, if you're not already, make sure you're following us, the Black College Sports Network at MyBCSN1, the number one. Yeah, so hello to everybody who's joining us. I see Coach Ferrasi in the building first off. We say hello to Coach. Looking forward to Coach joining us again this year. So I know you guys were real receptive and you enjoyed those episodes that we had during the football season where Coach Ferrasi joined us, breaking down various games throughout the year. So we've got Coach back for season number 2. So we look forward to that. And we'll probably start that sometime after we get a game under our belt, after we get that MEAC SWAC Challenge game. So we'll bring in Coach and then we'll go from there. So looking forward to having him back. You got a chance to meet Coach the past week.
Yeah. We I was in his part of Alabama. He's moved to Alabama, for those of you all who do not know. About a little bit close to my old stomping grounds.
Okay.
Not that far, but I was in that area for a job interview.
Yeah.
And so I stopped by and we hung out for about an hour before I had to get back on the road because I was trying to get on the road before it got dark. So
there you go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Next time I'll be there long enough so we can get a beer.
There you go. Shout out again. Thank you, Blue Jacket, for live. Hello, Tamara T. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber via YouTube as well. Want to, encourage any and everybody who's watching. Go ahead and be a part of the Jericho Broadcast Networks on our YouTube page. Just join MyJBN Online. Join. You see the join button there. If you're on that subscription on that page, you can subscribe. A cup of coffee every month is very appreciative. We got 3 different levels. You can be a supporter of the BCSN, all of our shows. Our show, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the Carlos Brown Show, the ONG Strike Zone, and soon to be some others. Just teasing that a little bit. So you can go and join, and we appreciate you joining in as well. Shout out to Jeff Roberts, Aggie Pride, definitely. Emmett Jones, Russell Hayes, Mary 305, Jeremiah Clark. Hello to each and every one of you. Walter Harley, Israel Carey, checking in. Good to see you, Israel. Lennon Blow, my favorite NSU Spartan antagonist. I appreciate you jumping in. 2 weeks away, Lennon. Get them. What was the bet again? Did I say what was it again, Drew? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
All right, Lennon, if you remember, come on in and remind me what that bet is after we spanked that tail in Atlanta. I forgot what the bet is already. I'm gonna have to remind myself. HBCU Band Talk. Appreciate you, Theron, coming in. Mike Road Dog Reed as well. Chuck Hunt from Monroe, Louisiana, checking in. Appreciate you. Why you mad? Why you mad? Hey, put it like this. At least A&T was in somebody's poll. Every other poll I've seen, you ain't been in a poll.
That's because nobody's poll went that low, Brian.
You ain't have to tell him that, Drew. Don't tell him that. I was trying to be nice. I was trying to let him know at least he was in a poll. I ain't seen A&T in anybody's poll to date. Just saying. So don't be mad. Don't be mad. Okay. Look, while we're talking Olympics, before we get into talking, the stuff that we had kind of talked about online and things that we want to get into in today's show, I wanted to ask Drew, we like to do top fives around here on the BCSN SportsWrap. A lot of other people have started coming in doing other top fives. We're the originators of the top five. But anyway, so I'm going to ask you, Drew, we're 1 week into the Olympics, okay? Just over 6-7 days or whatever. Give me your top 5 Olympic moments to date so far for you.
Moments?
Yeah, top 5, either things you saw, top 5 moments, top 5.
Next time you do something like this, please let me know in the pre-show so I don't have to go off my dome.
Did you not get the text? I sent you the text while I was out walking my 5K at 7 in the morning, and you replied with some other notes. So I figured you saw that, but you must have just looked by it.
I must have looked by that portion of the text.
Unbelievable. It was like one of the top things I sent out. Okay. All right. While I give you a chance to gestate, I will give you my top 5. And I did put other moments in there in case you want to steal some of my thoughts, right? All right. Top 5 moment. Now, this is in no particular order. I should rank these, but I'm not. Okay. I'm not going to rank these. Maybe next week once the whole thing is done. But these are just my top 5 in no particular order. And I'm trying to think back from the earlier in the week. I'm going to go, my first thought that came to me was women's rugby sevens. I think it's what they call it. Women's rugby 7. Team USA playing in the bronze medal game. First off, Team USA had to play New Zealand. New Zealand, if you don't know anything about rugby, men and women's, New Zealand, that's a country somewhere near Australia, right? They are the ish in rugby, men and women. That's the group. That's the team. They do the haka and everything. Whatever. Okay, they do all that. They do the haka after their wins or before the wins, whatever. So the women are they're about as good, bad meaning good, as the men. USA actually got a lead on them to start the game. Whoa, surprisingly, got a 5-0 lead. Okay, and then they gave up like 3 straight scores. Now, I'm not going to go, if you're not familiar with the rugby game, I'm not going to go into giving you the rules. It's kind of like American football without the forward pass, okay? So just think of it in that respect. But anyway, USA actually scored, I think, 12 points on New Zealand, which is the most points I think anybody scored on New Zealand in the entire tournament. Okay, now, so that was, for starters, that was pretty doggone good. So they get into this bronze medal match, and I think they're playing Australia. Australia has a very good defense. It came down to the last play, Drew. USA is backed up on their own, theoretically, on their own 10-yard line.
I saw that play.
Okay. Backed up on their own 10-yard. They need a touchdown, I think that's what it's called, to actually win or actually tie the game, excuse me. And under center, the young lady pitches it was a beautiful like 5-yard pitch to the young lady from the USA, Team USA, and she runs through the gap, through a hole, and is seemingly almost stopped by 2 or 3 Australian girls. She somehow powers her way through it, through the tackle, literally like pushes the one girl down, bursts through the other girl, and is gone. I mean, literally like an 80-yard run to the house. She dives through the goalposts, which are like towards the front of the end zone, old school style, right? Old school 1930s football. And that ties the game. She has to do the drop kick for the extra point to win the game. I mean, talk about a walk-off moment. That was the last play. There was not going to be another play after that game. And so Team USA ends up winning the bronze. I get chills watching it. It still is right now one of my favorite USA Olympic moments of the week, right? Okay, so that's in my top 5. You got any others? You want to jump in? Have you figured you want me to finish my 5, or do you want me to go?
I got one for you.
Okay, go ahead. We'll go back and forth here. What's one of yours?
How about Scotty Scheffler walking down Fleetwood, down 4 strokes today to win the gold for the U.S.?
I didn't even see Scheffler on the board. I bet on John Rahm plus 200 because he was like tied for the lead, right? I bet plus 200 on John Rahm to win,
and who was nowhere to be seen today.
But no, yes he was, Drew. With through 10 or 11 shots, John Rahm had a 2 to 3 stroke lead. I don't know what happened in the last 8 to 9 holes, but I looked up and said, "Damn, Rahm lost and he finished 5th. What the hell?" I did not see where Scheffler was, but anyway, you could have got great money on Scheffler had you bet him when you woke up this morning, because he was at least 4, maybe 5 to 1 to win. Great, best golfer in the game right now, and you never get that kind of odds on a Sunday with him. So damn, yeah, that was a shocking moment. But American Scotty Scheffler, baddest golfer on the tour right now, and I think so shout out to him. Okay, that's a good one, Drew. That's a good one. Okay, let me give you another one. I'm going back earlier in the week. How about Simone Biles in the all-around competition? On the last rotation, the girl from Brazil, actually, let me see. Suni Lee had already gone. She kind of assured herself a top 3 finish. The girl from Brazil goes next. She basically vaults over Suni Lee in the standings. And so here's Simone Biles. She needs to have, this is her event, the floor routine, right? She's the last competitor to go. She needs to have a great showing. And what do you know? She stuck it. And there was a moment, Drew, in one of her runs from corner to corner, where they do the runs and do a bunch of splits and flips and everything. And she landed it. She stuck it. And you can see when she landed, she had this big ass smile on her face. And I think she only had one more to do after that, but you just knew right then. It was like, yo, she's got it. She just wrapped it up. So yeah, for me, seeing Simone, and then at the end, Simone and Suni Lee, gold and bronze, the 2 young ladies got, they were kind of holding the American flag up, running around the floor mat. They were so excited. I mean, that was a very cool moment. Great to see Simone Biles. I think she's the first gymnast to win multiple all-around gold medals. So just an outstanding performance. And I think USA has won 6 in a row. We've had the all-around champion for 6 consecutive Olympics. So shout out to Simone Biles. So there's 2 for me. What's another one for you?
I was gonna go with that same one.
Okay.
So we have that one in common.
Okay.
Let me think. How about in swimming, Katie Ledecky?
Yeah, that's one of mine too. Now, which one though? Because she had a couple of pretty nice moments.
But the fact that she's won the same event 4 consecutive Olympics,
and has like the top 19 fastest times in the event. like world records, Olympic record. Then how about that's how dominant she is, and that's the 1,500 meters that you're talking about. She's won that 4 consecutive Olympics, and she has the 19th fastest. I mean, Drew, you even if you get close to her, you've got like the top. I mean, damn, she's just a GOAT in that sport. And who knows, at her age, Drew, she might be able to still run that race in 4 years in LA 2028 and still might be the best Olympian. Because that's the event, Drew, where she like has like a 15-second lead over everybody. Like she's finished and there's nobody on the screen once she hits the wall. It's ridiculous how good she is. But yeah, that was one of my top 5 too, Katie Ledecky. But I had a different one for Ledecky. The 800-meter race, which that's the one where she is going up against a girl from Australia who's kind of like a rival competitor. And she actually had to beat her. I think it was a close race. But a lot of people had the other girl from Australia predicted to win that race. And I think she lost to her in the 400. So for Ledecky to beat her in the 800 was pretty cool. And I think that was the one that put her, she became the first woman in history. No, she won 9. She won 9. That's what it was. That was the one that gave her her 9th career gold medal. So, yeah.
All right. I got another one. This is just a personal fan
we
favorite.
Each have 3. We each have 3 so far. So 2 more.
Personal fan favorite. Kevin Durant, not having played in 3 weeks, coming off the bench, 8 for 8 in the first half of his first game.
Slim Reaper. That's a great one. Great one. That's a great one. That was like on the edge of my top 5. That was a really cool moment.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. Good one. Okay. So my number 4 and number 5 both happened today. So I'm just spoiler alert. Number 4 for me was Novak Djokovic, the Joker, defeating Carlos Alcaraz on the same stadium that he lost to him just a month ago in the French Open finals. He beat Alcaraz. Alcaraz is like one of the best clay court players in the game right now, right? And Alcaraz beat him 3-0 a couple of months ago. I mean, smoked him. Djokovic ended up, this is the only medal that he hasn't won. This is one that was keeping him from winning the Golden Slam, right? Which is when you win the 4 majors and you have an Olympic medal. And only 4 other tennis players have done that. Any guesses on who those 4 are, Drew? Any guesses?
Serena.
Okay, there's one.
Okay.
Yep.
Nadal.
Wasn't Nadal one of them? I think Nadal is one of them. Yes, I think Nadal is one of them. Yes. So you got 2. Hold on, I'm gonna look at my phone. I tweeted this out earlier, so you'd be cheating if you looked at. Yes, Nadal is one of them. Yep, there's right. 2.
I'm stuck on stupid after that.
Another American male.
Ooh, Pete Sampras?
No, not Pete Sampras. Who's the other one?
Federer? Not Federer. He's not American.
Back in the
no, McEnroe. They wouldn't.
No, not McEnroe. Not McEnroe. Not Sampras. No. Think long flowing hair. Brooke Shields.
Agassi?
Yes, Agassi. Yeah, Agassi.
Oh, wow.
And then there's one more. A woman. His wife. Ooh, I just gave it away. Yeah. Steffi Graf. Yeah, she was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, Steffi Graf. So yeah, but that was one of my. So that happened this morning. I was mad I didn't bet on Djokovic. I'll be honest. I'm mad I didn't. No, he didn't withdraw from the French Open. I think he lost. Was it? Okay. Thank you. That's right. See, I'm telling you, man, Blue Jacket for life. I'm gonna just go ahead and make you an honorary producer of the show. You're on it tonight. Yes, it was Wimbledon that he lost to him, and he had to withdraw from the French. I appreciate you, Joe. Blue Jacket for life, correcting us. All right.
Yeah.
And then what's your that's so you got 4, I got 4. My 5th was Noah Lyles today. That was my 5th.
Okay.
I mean, that's my
I got
5th.
you.
That's my 5th. What's your 5th?
My last one is not as victorious for the US of A, but the mixed 4x100. I don't know if you saw that, but how Femke Bowl walked down the US. She took
Yes.
that baton in either 4th or 5th place on the last leg and ran like a 47 on her split. And for anybody who's run the quarter, a 47 is like, wow. Now she runs the 400 hurdles. Normally, and she usually runs that at 50. So her running a 47 with no hurdles is very believable. And she walked down 3 or 4 people, and she got 3 of them on the last 100.
Yeah, about the last 100 is what was really cool to
Which
watch.
that's when she really got
corner.
it.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unfortunately, America came in with the silver in that one, but that was an impressive run.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Blue Jacket said, why didn't they have I don't know the order.
That's a good question.
I don't know the order. I don't know. And that's another thing. Like I noticed these mixed.
I don't think any of those people who ran that mixed 400 are actually competing in the open 400. Right.
Yeah.
I think those may be like people who only over there for one event and giving them a second event to compete in or something along those lines.
Yeah. The mixed relays are kind of interesting. Even in swimming, they were doing the mixed relays, and it's kind of interesting to see that strategy of when are you going to have the women and when are you going to have the men.
I think they've got it automatically set that is men women or women men. They've already got that predetermined.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I
know when that mixed 4x1, it was man, woman. That was already set up like that.
I think swimming is different.
I didn't pay attention to swimming.
I think swimming is different. I think you just have to announce what you're doing, but it's not like predetermined. Like the women have to run the first one, the men the second. No, I don't think it's like that in swimming. Now, look, just as a close to this little segment about the Olympics, EA, like some of the interesting, like kind of scandals or stories that have been popping up. Yeah, I say EA in there. Shout out to EA. Hello to you. He talks about what's going on with the Jamaican women, man, because was it Shelley Fraser Price?
Yeah, she pulled out after the first round.
I don't know if she pulled out or she was pulled out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like something went down.
She got a DNS.
Well, something happened backstage or before she could actually get to the track or get to the something happened where she wasn't permitted. I don't know. It's kind of reminiscent of the of what happened to a couple American sprinters back in the 70s. Where some American sprinters were actually late because of some kind of mix up or a screw up with the timing. So yeah, but that you had that story going on. The stuff going on with the boxing, the women's boxer. Is she a woman? Is she not a woman? She's from Algeria. You're like, damn, Algeria doesn't have transgender, do they? She wouldn't be. That whole thing, Drew, that was a 48-hour discussion that I was of one thought for 24 hours. And then once I became a little more educated, I had a totally different thought. And then I just felt bad about my thoughts originally. I was like, damn, it's kind of messed up.
Most of those countries, especially Middle Eastern or African countries, ain't going for that. They do not believe in the equity when it comes to your sexual preference. We'll just put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can, and all of that was was tough, man. That whole storyline was real.
Hey, Emmett.
Hey,
You ain't never
we
been
can't go
around
by
a woman
looks.
that looked like a man.
Yeah, we can't go
I've
by
been
looks.
around, and I've been around plenty of men who look like a woman, and they are not. You know, they are straight, but they just have that either feminine or masculine look to them.
Yeah, that whole thing.
You can't go by that.
That was a whole unfortunate situation. The 100, the women's 100 meter also was kind of a, once I saw the young lady Julian Allred from, where is she from? Hold on. I saw St. Lucia. She won the first ever medal for St. Lucia. When I saw her beat Sha'Carri in the semis and just their strides, Drew, I should have known then. I should have been betting on her because I don't think she was a favorite.
Sha'Carri legs was too short.
Exactly. That was my thought too. I saw that and I was like, oh, no. The way that girl got out the blocks, first 3-4 steps, I was like, oh, damn. Wow.
Because Sha'Carri's only about 5'1".
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's and then so many different things. If we're gonna talk more next week, obviously, because the Olympics will come to an end, we'll have more to talk about. But I'm enjoying, man. I've been listening to podcasts. The days I get to stay home and just kind of watch the Gold Zone. Those have been some of my best days this week. Honestly, honest to God, my best days.
Speaking of staying home, Brian, do you guys have school tomorrow?
Don't have school tomorrow, but teachers have already reported back, so I'm already back in preseason mode. A week from Monday. School starts a week from Monday for me.
Well, we were supposed to start school tomorrow in my area, but this tropical storm is coming straight through this area, so it just started raining about 10 minutes ago during the show. So they canceled school for tomorrow on the first day.
Jesus. Fortunate kids. One more day of summer, kids. One more day of summer.
I don't know if this is worth it. You know, it's supposed to be a one when it hits the coast. It's supposed to be down to a tropical storm when it comes to my area. So we'll see what it is. Yeah,
I'm sure I'm gonna get lots of rain. So anybody in the path of, was it Tropical Storm Debbie, something like that is what it's called?
Debbie, yeah.
Yes. So please be safe. Anybody, Tropical Storm Debbie, be safe. I'm
South Georgia, North Florida Panhandle area.
Yeah.
Eastern Alabama.
Yeah. Be safe, people. Be safe. All right. Hey, let's take our first
supposed to wind up in the Carolinas before it goes back out. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's take our first break. Drew, let's take our first break and then get into some HBCU football talk and some other stuff. We're here for a good time, not a long time tonight. So we got a lot of stuff we want to get to, and so we'll try to be quick and we'll try to be pointed. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Go and hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would. I'm not seeing any likes. I'm not seeing any thumbs up. You guys are disappointing me. We got a lot of people watching the show. We appreciate you. But go ahead and hit that thumbs up and the like button if you would. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment. Are you doing it or me?
I thought you had it.
Look like you've been producing, so I figured you had it.
Okay, I got it now. And say that again. We'll be back when?
Into.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero in a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true.
Gotta get the corners.
human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield. Never not working.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Brian Fulford, A.D. Drew here. Just had to finish sending out this tweet. I know Drew put this in the chat room, so you guys take a second if you would. Hit that link up, myBCSN.net/watch/polls. The BCSN Game Time Show is going to be on the road starting in 20 days in Atlanta, Georgia for the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and then we'll travel from Atlanta down to Miami.
Back up. We started off in Montgomery, Alabama for BuzzFest.
Oh, see.
On August 19th. Then we go to the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Okay. Point of clarification. All right. So that's the road trip starting in Alabama State, going to Atlanta, Montgomery to Atlanta to Miami Gardens, and where we go between then and the end of the season in Atlanta again is kind of based on you guys. So go ahead and hit the poll up. Drew put it in the chat room. He put it in the chat room on YouTube and Facebook. Take a couple of minutes. It won't take long to go fill this out if you would. I heard Doc kind of with a little challenge, and I know a lot of people who watch our show watch Doc's show. So if you didn't get a chance to vote during Doc's show on Thursday, or
I don't care, vote again.
Saturday,
vote again.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, if you can vote again, sure. Vote
if
again.
It lets you vote again, vote again. We want our credit. Doc issued a straight up challenge. I don't know about you as a competitor, but I am a competitor. I respect Doc, but I've got to show the great doctor up on this one. I need my BCSN, my SportsWrap people to come through on this show.
Appreciate you. All right. So again, maybe you didn't catch it on Doc's show. Maybe you didn't get a chance to do it on Carlos's show Saturday, but you can definitely do it here. So again, check the it's in the chat. Drew he'll link it out one more time. I know he'll drop it one more time in there just in case, and then you can go vote. So where should we be this season? I was kind of upset I didn't see the Circle City Classic on there, but all right, I'm gonna let that go. But anyway, just 40th anniversary of the classic that kicked off HBCU football in the Midwest. So okay, whatever. Okay, speaking of football, before we get into
Brian, we'll probably have more votes than people that show up to the Classic.
Anyway, shut up. All right. So before we get into talking about a couple of things that we're going to do Division-I over-unders today. Division-I football. I finally have the numbers all done. I have the BCSN line set. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I'm going to go to this story I saw it on HBCU Sports. I don't know where the original press release is, but it's regarding HBCU Go's announcement that they're expanding their Black college sports reach across the USA. Again, coming from HBCUsports.com. The Byron Allen-led media organization announced that it's increasing the ways HBCU sports fans will be able to consume live events for the 24-25 season. The expansion includes Fox-owned and operated stations in LA, Chicago, and the Armed Forces Network, according to a press release. HBCU Go indicated that it, quote, is cleared in over 95% of the U.S. television households, along with 15 new television markets. The platform secured distribution agreements with AMG Broadcasting, Sinclair, Gray, Tegna, Hearst, Nexstar, and Scripps Network. Quote from Byron Allen, "It's important for us to showcase these excellent athletes at amazing HBCUs, not just in their hometown, but to sports fans worldwide. We are proud to be the #1 provider of live Black college sports." That's not true, but okay. Anyway, there will be, according to this article, it says there will be 26 HBCU football matchups this season, including 8 CIAA games, 9 SIAC games, and 14 in the SWAC, including the Southern Heritage Classic and the CIAA Football Championship.
How many games they say they're gonna have, Brian?
Well, that's interesting because I'm
just doing that math. Say that again. 8 CIAA, 9 SIAC,
right? What's that?
And
What's
14.
That
that's 16.
No, 8 plus 9 is not 16, Drew.
17, excuse me. That's 17.
Okay. And then 14 in the SWAC.
That's 31.
All right. So yeah, I'm just reading what's here. I'm not in school. I'm not a math major.
Hey, I knew that math was off.
Well, I'll tell you what's even off. I knew it was off because I have my own breakdown of every game. And according to my numbers, HBCU Go is broadcasting 28 games featuring HBCU teams. Whether it be some of those are matchups, some of those are most of those are matchup games. Yeah. So I've got 28. Right. But anyway, I thought what you were going to say, Drew, about that number is, the whole thing about what was the quote here? What was the quote? "We are proud to be the #1 provider of live Black college sports." Yeah, not really though.
We got
okay.
Before we go any further, I need to take a point of special privilege and get this question answered. Emmett, you go through and choose a game every week, or there is, like Dr. Kavir said, there is a spot where you can do a write-in also. So I think I just wanted to get that out before we got too deep into this conversation, Brian, while people are hot on the voting.
Appreciate you guys voting. Appreciate you, Tamara. Appreciate you, Emmett, and everybody else. So look, I've
got some.
I'm just gonna be quick. I'll be quick and say while you're formulating your thought, I'm just gonna say,
my thought is already there.
It's great that we have a lot of coverages here. I think when I looked at the matrix of games, and there are games.
Let's hold on that part of it before we break the numbers down.
Well, what I was going to say.
Go ahead, get your thought. Then we'll go deep into the numbers.
Yeah. What I was just going to say before I give the numbers, I was just say this is a year in which I think it's an unprecedented number of games will appear on, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, by my count, 8 different networks. Now, I'm including the ESPN ABC family. Of course, you got HBCU Go. You got Flow
ESPN
Sports.
ABC is counted as one network when you say
I
8.
said the ABC family, which includes
Okay, that's one.
Right. Flow Sports, SWAC Digital, CIAA Sports Network, the NFL Network, NBC Sports, Big Ten Network. I'm not going to say the Black College Sports Network is dead yet in terms of broadcasting games, even though we have aired games, but who knows? We're working on some things to do games. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, EA. It's facts. It's facts. I would not throw anything out there if I didn't have facts behind me, EA. I don't have a lot of money, but I got some facts. And I got that FAMU banner behind me. So that's what I got behind me. Anyway. So Drew, you were gonna say what before I talk about the numbers?
I'm really interested in with the agreements that they have with the linear television stations. We'll just say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of Grio / HBCU Go games that overlap in time. I'm curious in the logistics of how that's going to work. And this is not throwing shade. This is a legitimate question. I am really curious as into the logistics of how that is going to work with them. We've got most games during September are going to start at the earliest 4:00 Eastern time. Realistically, most of them going to start at 6:00 Eastern time. And when you've got games overlapping 4:00 and 6:00 or something along those lines, how is that going to work on linear?
Well, usually you'd have to
on streaming. I understand it on streaming.
Market
right.
based.
So you won't. So when you're saying we've got these multiple games, probably you're going to get one or the other. You're probably not going to get both on linear. If you understand where I'm going with that.
Yep. Hold on. Let's use a game for example. Since you bring this up, let me pull up the TV schedule that I have. Let's start in week 1. Let me see. Now you're talking game times that are similar.
That would overlap as far as a 3.5 hour time window.
Yeah, I don't have game time. So like in week 2, well, hell, in week 1, when you have Clark at Fort Valley State and you have Virginia Union at Kentucky State, are those more likely to be 1:00 ball games?
Probably not during this time of the year.
Week 1, you don't think those will be 1:00 games?
No, not during this time of year. Those are going to be 4, 5, or 6 o'clock games locally. So I'm assuming they're assuming one game is going to be on linear in, let's say, Chicago, while you'll be able to pick up the other one on the Grio. And then, of course, we know that you're supposed to be able to pick up all of them on the HBCU Go app or HBCU Go website. Like I said, I'm just curious about the logistics of it. I'm, not to throw any shade, but
no, you're throwing shade because look, okay, the Fort Valley Clark game is a 1:00 kickoff.
Okay.
Virginia Union, Kentucky State. I think that's being hosted by Kentucky State. I'm gonna bet my winnings from my Noah Lyles ticket that game is a 1:00 start too. It's actually a 3:00 start. So there you go.
So it's still an overlap.
It's still an overlap. Yeah, it's a 3:00 start. Yes. So I mean, you look if
and both of those are Eastern time zone. That part of Kentucky is on Eastern time.
If you are television, we understand television will push games to their advantage. So if they were smart about this, they would push one game back to a 4 o'clock kickoff.
4:30.
4:30,
kickoff.
4 o'clock. So that way you capitalize on a continuous stream of people watching one game to the next versus having to split up. Now, the HBCU Go package on a weekly basis, most of the time this season, they're airing 2 games a week. There's 1 week in late September 21st, where they have 3 games. There's another week in October 19th, where they have 3 games, but most of the games are 2. Right? So, you know.
And what'll happen on the Griot, for those of y'all who get the Griot, you'll have the game live, and then as soon as that live game goes off, you'll probably have the replay of the alternate game. And then on that week when you have 3, you'll probably have the replay of the third game back to back to back, like you were talking about. But as far as live coverage, it's going to be interesting outside of the internet or your streaming device, which is fine. That's fine. But once again, there's a little bit, I won't say misleading, but there's a little bit of confusion about how this is going to happen.
It's going to happen one of 2 ways. I mean, either it's going to be regionally based in terms of the scheduling, or what? You're gonna have the one game and then you're gonna follow up the second. Now, I think the 3 o'clock is kind of, the 1 and 3 o'clock is definitely short. So I don't know.
I mean, that's halftime.
No, not halftime. Third quarter.
Yeah,
third quarter.
That's coming out of halftime. That you are coming out of halftime at 3 o'clock.
All right. I will say this though, Blue Jacket. Look, everybody's playing at 1. The whole for example, the whole SIAC and the CIAA, mostly 75% of the schedule is being played at 1 o'clock. Hey, you're worried about you in the stands. Hell, what about the guys on the field? The guys on the field play at 1. I mean, these games are played at 1.
And they own turf.
And their own, field turf mostly. I don't.
Most of both. I think everybody at the SIAC pretty much has turf now.
Yeah. What is this? That game starts in LA at 10 a.m. Wow. What is he talking about? Well, yeah. Well,
a 1 o'clock East Coast game is 10 o'clock in LA.
People, I don't know about. I've heard from people who live on the West Coast. They love that. They love that because you start your morning with football, and unlike us, who have to stay up late to watch a 7 o'clock kickoff game, which ends at 10:30, 11. Their game is done at 7 o'clock, and they got the whole evening. So really, I would love to be on the West Coast where I could eat breakfast watching football at 10 o'clock in the morning and be done by 7 o'clock. And still, if I wanted to go out in the evening, I could. But on the East Coast, guess what? Our last game ends at 10:30, 11, and we're gassed, tired, going to bed, right?
Struggling at work in the morning.
Or church or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Well said. WSSU Ram Nation. I learned who that was. Shout out. TV is king. The games will fill the slots, and people can go elsewhere. But so Lawrence, you're in LA. Yeah, so see, I know. Imagine the NFL. Like I would love for that. You'd be able to watch games at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and be done by 5 o'clock.
10, a 1, and a 4.
Jeez. Okay, so let me get the numbers, Drew, because I did break down the numbers based on those, when I saw that article, I wanted to go look and say, how many games are going to be on different networks, right? So amongst HBC, and I still think my matrix is missing some games, Drew. But anyway, right now I've counted on the ESPN/ABC family of networks, and that's ABC, ESPN, ESPNU, ESPN Plus, right? I've counted 109 games throughout the course of this season, with the largest explosion of games happening at the beginning of the season in week 1 and week 2, when you have a lot of HBCU teams playing, Power Fives or FBS teams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So they'll be on SEC,
ACC,
ABC.
Yeah. ESPN Plus. So, I mean, in week 1, there are 15 games that'll be featuring HBCUs on the ABC ESPN Plus family of networks. Like practically every SWAC team, everybody in the SWAC you'll be able to watch on ESPN. There'll be a couple of games featuring SIAC teams, all the MEAC. Practically all the MEAC, not all of them, but a lot of the MEAC teams will be on ES. So, I mean, that's so in total 109 games. I mentioned the 28 games for HBCU Go. How about this? Flow Sports, 25 games. Now, Flow Sports, that majority of Flow Sports is really
that's A&T in Hampton.
And also there's a few D2 games, because Flow Sports has contracts with some of the opponents that teams from the SIC and the CIAA play. So some of that includes some Division-II games there. So that's 25 games via Flow Sports. SWAC Digital Network, which has expanding their reach this year. Congratulations to the SWAC for making this possible. 19 games will air on the SWAC Digital Network throughout the course of this season. 19 games. That's pretty good. The CIAA Sports Network, another online platform, they've got 15 games scheduled. I think that will increase, because there are a lot of games that are not according to what I've seen on the schedule. There are a lot of games that aren't on the CIAA network. But so far I've counted 15 games that are scheduled, and then
usually isn't the CIAA network where you get the quote unquote dump of the rest of the games aren't picked up by everybody else in the CIAA if they aren't picked up by another network?
Supposedly,
isn't it usually where they land?
That's what I believed. Yes, that's what I believed. I thought pretty much every game was accessible via the CIAA network. So that's why maybe it just when I went and did this, they hadn't been scheduled yet. So that's where we're at. And then all the teams stream on the CIAA network. So right now they just haven't put the schedule up. So that's even more. So when I eventually fill in this matrix, because there's a lot of games that are open right now on the CIAA network, and so eventually that'll get filled. And then I think, as I said earlier, there's a game that'll be on NFL Network. That's the Virginia State Benedict game. There's a game that'll be on NBC Sports. That's the Bayou Classic at the end of the year. I think there's even going to be a game on the Big Ten Network, which I think is ran through Fox, and that's Howard at Rutgers to open the season. So, again, just an unprecedented year of coverage, and so a lot of opportunities for us, for you to watch. And some schools will have every game on a national platform. For example, several schools in the SWAC will have every game featured, maybe on ESPN Plus or one of the ESPN family of networks. So I mean that's pretty impressive. I mean, even schools, Drew, like, I hate to say it this way, but even schools like Valley and UAPB will have upwards of 3/4 of their games on TV, right? So even going to Valley, even being at UAPB, you're going to get a lot of games broadcast on TV. Yeah. What's this about Florida Memorial home games?
Yeah, they are. Florida Memorial home games are on HBCU Plus.
Okay. Yeah, so there's another platform that I haven't seen, And so again, we're talking just football, but I'll tell you, the inventory of available games is even deeper when we start talking about volleyball. Appreciate Roy for even reminding. I mean, there are so many more opportunities to even broadcast volleyball games. So the exposure opportunities are there for other sports. Do these commissioners, do these school presidents, and notice who I said there, commissioners and school presidents. It's not the ADs, it's the presidents of these universities, the commissioners who work for the presidents of the universities. Do they understand this? Do they understand that, yes, you're giving these great opportunities for football, but you have 2 to 3 times the amount of inventory with volleyball. And hell, when you get to basketball, I mean, just as much. Hopefully they do recognize and realize that.
They're taking a gamble on inventory versus eyeballs. Thinking they're getting a better return on a football game than volleyball.
Tell the volleyball coach
or soccer.
Tell the volleyball. Tell the soccer coach that. I mean, come on now. Make it make sense. You can't.
We know football pays the bills.
Okay. Look, I can't argue that. I can't argue that. Which is why they created, things like Title IX.
And that's also why they created check games.
Yes. All right, let's take a break. Come back. Let's give you some over-unders for the Division-I season. It's going to get interesting. This might get even a little controversial. We're going to break down the 21 over and unders for the upcoming season right here on the BCSN SportsWrap. So get your pencil pens ready. I don't have any fancy graphics. I apologize. Maybe next week's show I'll have fancy graphics. So get your pens and pencils out, kids, for over-unders as we go through the MEAC, SWAC, and our 3 independent schools. Give you what we believe the over-under line is. So, we like to think one day you have an opportunity to actually wager on these, just like you can everything else. While we're opening the doors, let's open the doors all the way. But anyway, all right, let's take a break. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a second.
Hey, grab me one too.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle. Mister, this script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel. A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true.
Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University Sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Brian Fulford, A.D. Drew here. Drew, you said something. You had a video that you wanted to show. You got it ready?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you have the video ready?
I forgot to put my headphones and stuff back on, man.
Is the video ready?
It is ready. Let me.
Well, while you're getting that ready, just want to take a moment to encourage anybody who's interested in advertising with the BCSN. Send us an email, info@myjbn.com. You can secure a spot in one of those wonderful advertisement segments that you just came out of, with not only our show, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the O&G Strike Zone, as well as the Carlos Brown Show. Your business or company, or maybe you've got a product, maybe you've got a service that you want to let people know about. You can reach out to us and advertise with the Black College Sports Network. Might even be some opportunities with some things that we have planned going on this season for some athletic events. So just hit us up, info@myjbn.com. If your business, or maybe you know of a business owner, Black business owner, hit them up, let them know, advertise with us.
They don't. Hey, we take white money too. You said it's black. You know, we don't want no black. It ain't just got to be a black job now, Brian.
Best tweet.
Anyway, video is ready.
Best tweet I saw was from Simone Biles. She talked about her black job, and she said, "My black job is winning gold medals." I said, "Go ahead, Simone. You go ahead, girl."
There you go.
Yeah. What a job.
All right.
Video's
ready. Yes.
I don't know where it is. So.
Oops,
no sound.
The $80 book bag. What you supposed to be studying for a doctor? Girl, go put this back. Girl, my God. Where your toe at? Back here? Good. What size is your feet? Okay, these about a 12. You can grow on these. So good. Walk. Well, let me see. Walk. Let me see. Every folder you get got to have a kitty cat on it. Girl, go get you some manila folders. Ain't nobody spending money on last year. Use the one from last year. We're not doing that. What's this? I'm not buying another hoodie. No. What's these little thin tights for? What's this? What was Lululemon? $80 for a pair of tights. They can get you some Target, Cat and Jack, $10. I don't sell drugs. What is this? Every pencil you get ain't got to have no Spider-Man on it. Go get you some number 2 so that you can write and learn. We need wipes. We need Clorox wipes. What you supposed to be wiping the school down? You ain't the janitor. Girl, no. Why all your socks got to be Nike? Just get you something for $50 and be good. No. Now, you know I'm not finna buy you no white shoes. They're going to be dirty next week. Find you some all black Air Force Ones and we'll be good. Put them back. This is an $80 book bag. What you supposed to be studying for a doctor? Girl,
wait a minute. No, she didn't say you don't need no number 2 pencils with what she said was Spider-Man on it. Boy,
Spider-Man.
I'll get you some pencils with the number 2 on them. Boy. Man.
It's back to school time. I thought I'd bring some humor to it, man.
The struggle is real for these kids out here, boy.
The struggle is for the struggle is for those parents, because I've been that kid and I've been that parent.
Hey, I'm mad when mama got the school list talking about what you need these Clorox wipes. Mama, because your kid and everybody else's kid sneeze and snot. That's why. Okay, pet peeve here, point of privilege, Drew. And I've been debating on creating an Amazon store, right? Because I've seen some other teachers do this. I said, maybe if I create an Amazon store, will my community support me if I create an Amazon store, right? I don't know. Y'all tell me in the chat. Would you support me or not? But anyway, tissues. Tissues are the number one resource. And we got one simple ask. If every kid in the homeroom, you're going to have about 20 to 25 kids, right? If everybody brings a tissue box at the start of the year, we're covered probably for at least the first two. We're covered all the way up until at least Christmas break, maybe even past Christmas break. But man, it burns me up. Burns me up, Drew. I get like 4 kids that'll bring a tissue box. And those are the kids that don't even blow their nose half the doggone time. It'd be all the other kids that sniffling and I want to say every time, did you bring a tissue box? And they just kind of look at me. Go to the bathroom. No, matter of fact, just stand out in the hallway and here, take this tissue, take this paper towel.
Right.
That's what they want. They want to go to the bathroom.
Right.
They'll be like, no, go
Right.
stand in the hallway with this paper towel and blow your nose.
You know, you got that one kid, Brian. Pay attention.
No. That I teach high school kids. If I see a high school kid do that, Drew, I'm sending him to the office. You need to go to I have you with snot on your no. I'm not in elementary. That's elementary right there. That's elementary. I see what my man Keith said. Exactly. Hold on. Keith said, buy a pack of toilet paper. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. And so when I run out of tissues, they're gonna say, hey, use that roll of toilet paper since none of y'all brought tissues. You cheap somethings.
Brian, I got one better than that. Keith, you're going too far by buying it. When the janitor come around, take some of that scratch your toilet tissue.
The one ply toilet paper.
The one ply thin toilet paper.
Ooh.
You keep a roll of that in your classroom like I did when I was teaching.
Yeah. No. I
would take it one step further. You know how they always leave the little hat when they get down to the end of the toilet paper or the paper towel roll, and they set it on top? You take that one also and put it in your room, but most of us don't have paper towels in the bathrooms anymore. They pretty much everybody's going to hand dryers.
No, I don't know what kind of school you got, but my school, my school still had paper towels. I don't know what kind of school you had.
I haven't seen paper towels in a school in my area in a long time. Wow. Everybody has hand dry. It's less mess.
Well,
it's less mess.
I get that, but I mean, you got to be able to afford that, Drew. Hell, I mean, just because I teach at a private Christian school don't mean I'm at the school where there's the money flowing in like that. The tuition ain't $20,000 for the year. Anyway.
Yeah, I really can count the number of times I've actually seen paper towels in the bathroom.
Right, I'm right there with Keith. I'm right there with you, Keith. That's the kind of school I'm at. Where look, we everybody ain't able to. We ain't able to have them dryers. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create the Amazon list. I had a couple. I told a couple teachers on Friday because I saw they created a list. I said, could you help me make a list? Just kind of sucking up to them. But anyway, I'm like, I need you to create an Amazon list for me. I know enough people. Maybe I can get people to buy things. And I'm gonna put legitimate stuff. I'm not gonna put stuff from my house on the list, although it might a few items might sneak on there. But anyway, okay. Let's talk over-unders. Over-under. So this is our way of kind of looking at the upcoming season. We like to use data to make predictions about the season, to analyze the season. Everybody's got a poll, Drew. Remember, on Wednesday's show, the ONG Strike Zone, we had Stan Beckton of NCAA.com. He had just released the power rankings for the NCAA.com. He also Let's look at that for a second. Hold on. I think I got the graphic here for that. Let me see. Where is it at? I thought I had it. The power rankings for, oh, here it is. Okay. So power rankings. If you just look at polls and rankings, these are the first 5. Now, since I have seen other people come out, now I'm not going to call names, but I saw somebody had Jackson State in their poll, and I'm sorry. I instantly looked at that and said, what in the shiggity? Because talk about coming out of left field, but okay, yeah, you get a poll. All of you people watching us could have a poll if you wanted to. So I just went with the top 5, the first 5. Now, Dr. Cavill's not on here. Dr. Cavill's using marketing strategies, and he's spacing his out over 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't have his top 7 or 10 even. But what's just your impressions, Drew? And of course, I highlighted Florida A&M because this is a graphic that I use for Wednesday's ONG Strike Zone. But what do you when you look at the 5 polls, the first 5 that came out? What are your just general thoughts here? Is this the first time you're seeing this? I'm sure.
I saw it on the show, but It's the first time I've actually had a chance to study it. You got 5 polls. You've got 4 number ones. Looks like
3 number.
No matter who your number 3 different number ones. But it looks like no matter who your number 1 is, Central is the consensus number 2 team.
Yeah, that stood out to me as well.
Okay. And then Howard is all over the place. FAMU is all over the place. Alcorn snuck in.
Alcorn's all over the place.
Alcorn's all over the place. Alabama State's all over the place. I mean, they go from as low as a 5 to 1 and 2 polls, 2 in another polls, to they not even in the top 5 in the last poll, HBCU Game Day poll. So
what's interesting,
you know what this tells me, Brian?
Uh-huh.
Nobody has a freaking clue. Unlike the last few years, where you've had probably almost going back a decade, Brian, you've always had a consensus number 1 coming in. Sure. I mean, you had Grambling as a consensus number 1 back in the early Celebration Bowl era. Then you had A&T, who was probably the clear number 1 coming into the season during that era. Alcorn may have snuck in there a little bit at first, after replacing Grambling, but you had 1 or 2 teams. We're not going to count the COVID year when Alabama A&M, but even still, Alabama A&M was the consensus number 1 team that year, even during the COVID season. And then you had Jackson State as a consensus number 1 coming into, and FAMU was a consensus number 1 last year. So now this year, no one knows. Why does no one know what to expect? New coaches,
I think quarterbacks. In my opinion.
Start off with the coaches.
Okay,
even because you could coaches, roster turnovers, including the quarterbacks. You got turnovers at the coordinator positions. Most of these schools have at least 1, if not 2, new coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them by merit because they've gotten jobs elsewhere. Some of them by necessity because they were not performing at the level that they needed to perform where they were currently at. And then the other thing that I see, Brian, Prairie View has won the SWAC West 2 consecutive years.
Yeah. No respect.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they were they not tied with Southern the year that Southern actually went to the SWAC championship game? Southern
you might be right. Yes.
Southern had the tiebreaker.
Yes.
So Prairie View.
They've been the best team in the West the last couple seasons. And that's not saying a lot, but it's saying that it is
under two coaches.
Right.
So that's That's saying, and then honestly, Jackson State, right? Where they, they're kind of there.
But EA, okay, answer this question, Drew. EA says it's lazy journalism. Is it really lazy though? I mean, come on, it's preseason. It's preseason, EA. I mean, what do you want? I mean, in each case, look at let's use Florida A&M and Alabama State as a litmus, right? Two SWAC East teams. If obviously in the polls where you have Florida A&M won, you don't think so highly of Alabama State. But in the polls where you have Alabama State won, you have questions or don't think highly of Florida A&M. Even
I don't know if that's. I don't even know if that's taking it that far, Brian. This is the thing: Alabama A&M and Florida and Alabama A&M, Alabama State and Florida A&M play each other.
Correct.
Basically, whoever you have ranked ahead is who you're saying is going to win that matchup.
I agree. Probably so. Yep.
It's that simple when it comes to those two.
Yeah.
It's Alabama State's homecoming. So three people.
Same thing for North Carolina Central and Howard.
No. Hold on. Let's stay with this one first. Then we'll switch to that one. Three people think Alabama State is going to win their homecoming against Florida A&M. Two people think Florida A&M is going to go into Montgomery and beat Alabama State.
Okay.
And like I said, the same thing with Howard and Central. Well, right now, no one thinks Howard is going to beat Central because everybody has a Central ahead of Howard.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm off my mess.
Bama State plays North Carolina Central too. That's another caveat there. Thank you for that. Yep. Bama State plays North Carolina Central. So I think
so if we're looking at that,
that's telling you
Central wins. Central wins 1, 2, 3 of those matchups. Alabama State wins 2 of them. If you're just using that one, good job bringing that out, Keith.
Yeah. So and again, polls and rankings. I'll be honest.
The conversation pieces.
Yeah, some of these are voted. Like I know there are multiple voters. And then there's others where you have a primary source. So you may have one person's opinion. You may have multiple people's opinion. For example, Box to Row was a coach's poll, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
My guess is HBCU Sports and HBCU Game Day probably used amongst their staff of people, right? Maybe even some extras. That's why I've always we've always look, Drew and I decided a long time ago to not do preseason polls, rankings, because it's so unclear. And I know, look, we understand. I put a poll out and I said preseason polls, like, dislike, or necessary evil. Last I checked, Drew, guess what was winning? Necessary evil. I mean, to have something to talk about.
Exactly.
We've always waited until after
4 games in. 4 games in.
Yeah, we've always waited until after some games in before we put anything out there. So all right, let's talk over-unders, Drew.
Hey, check your text messages.
This is perfect content as I'm, in the middle of a show here. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. Let's talk over-unders. Where's my little banner at? Over-under time. So last year was the first year we did this. And actually, we did it in conjunction with Jamie Walker. Jamie's been on the show a couple times over the past month. So among the 21 HBCU Division-I teams, we set an over-under win total last year. AD, you ended up having the best record overall. By a slim margin, you actually went 16-5 in your predictions last year. Jamie and I both went 15-6. And so let's just imagine, Drew, if there was a real legitimate betting market for us, we would have all won some money, right? We would all came out looking pretty doggone good, right?
Unless it was just us three in the pool, then I would have took all y'all money.
Sure, but I'm saying if because look, betting is legal in this country of America, except in some states, right? And win totals are, for a lot of conferences, especially at the FBS level, been out. The market is not so advanced at the FCS level, sadly. Okay, so what we try to do here is try to say, if there was a legitimate market in the preseason, right, this is what the win total would look like on the season. And when I say Drew went 16-5, that's actually, plus 11. Jamie and I went 15-6. What is that?
Plus 9.
Plus 9. Okay. So 9 units, 11 units. If you bet $100, you'd be up 900. Jamie and I, Drew, would have cleared 1,000. So we'd all be eating steak dinners, going somewhere good, Drew. So that's the positive sign. Okay. So that means now, if I were a bookmaker, they might look at me kind of strange and say, you were off on your numbers. You got to do better, because the idea if I was at a book, you want to be at what? 50, 55%. Yeah. So you don't want to give away too much. So let's start by looking at the independents. Let's start with the independent. And when we say independents, we mean non-MEAC, non-SWAC teams. So Hampton, North Carolina A&T, and Tennessee State. I'm going to start with Tennessee State. Okay. Tennessee State, last year they went 6-4. Okay. The prediction on their season was really 5-6. Okay. 5-6 was the prediction. We went with a line of 5.5 last year. Okay. This year, Tennessee State is actually predicted to have a similar record. They're actually predicted to go 5-7 this year. So I will once again, Drew, set the line at 5.5 games. So will Tennessee State go over or under 5 wins? 5.5 wins. That means, 5 wins would be under, 6 wins would be over.
I gotta pull up the schedule.
Oh boy. EA says over. EA is going over on Tennessee State. 5.5. You guys let us know. Come on. We don't want to we gotta move through this, Drew. So you gotta be quick. There's over again. So Mary's going over.
I'm going over.
Emmett's saying under. You're going
over.
What, Drew?
Over. I can give them 6. Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Where do you see 6 at? Now I'm gonna make you go. Where do you see 6 at?
Okay. I'm gonna give them Valley. I'm gonna give them UAPB.
Okay.
I'm giving them Lindenwood.
Mm-hmm. This is where I wish
that's 3.
If I'd have had the schedule graphic, this would have been a good segment to have the schedule graphic.
Yeah. I give them Western Illinois. I give them those 4.
All right. 5.5.
So you've got Southeast, Garner-Webb, UT Martin, Eastern Illinois, Charleston Southern to pick up 2 more wins, because you will not beat North Dakota State.
Um,
I'm giving them 6 games to get 2.
3, 4.
They're like 12. It's a 12 gamer.
Okay, 12. Yeah, I think
That's
they've got a
why- that's
couple
why I'm
of
giving-
Division 2 games. They got a couple of Division 2 games in there against somebody.
No. That's why I'm giving them the 6 because they've got the extra game.
Yeah, I probably should have set this higher, but I don't know. I'm gonna go over. I went over last year, and they finished at that. So I see a couple other people saying over. More people are saying over. What's interesting is, this is year. What year is this for Eddie George?
Did he not come in with Prime, or he came in year after Prime?
The year after Prime.
So
I like
would
this
be year
prediction.
3.
Tennessee State beating Howard. I like that. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I give this is year 3.
Yeah, all right. Somebody said 4.
Yeah, sure.
North Dakota
it would be
State.
year 4.
North Dakota State. They play North Dakota State. That's
At
going
North
to be
Dakota State.
at North Dakota State at the what is it? The Fargo Dome or something like that.
Is that the one who played in the Fargo Dome? I thought that was South Dakota played in the Fargo Dome.
But that, okay, maybe you're right. I don't know. North Dakota State plays in a dome. That'll be a great litmus test for Tennessee State. It really will, to see where they're at. So, okay. Now let's get into the teams from the CAA. This will be interesting. This will be fun for some of you. So it might be a little painful for some of you to listen to.
Roy.
Let's start. Let's start with A&T. Let's start with A&T, who comes in with a highly. It's kind of interesting in terms of rating. A&T comes in with a good rating. Like, the computer metrics love A&T. Now, A&T underperformed last year.
That's because of that conference too.
Yes, it is because of that conference, which, that conference is stacked with teams who, like, 6 teams all rated in the top 50, 6 or 7 teams rated in the top 50. But anyway, last year, North Carolina A&T, 1-10. They were predicted to go 4-6-1 last year. We set the line at 5.5. Now, I think when I go back and look, Drew, you were more optimistic with A&T than me and Jamie. Even Jamie went under last year. Jamie went under 5. He's an A&T guy. Jamie went under last year. He and I got it right. You were wrong by going over. Look, I'm not going to set the line at 5.5 again for A&T. I'm setting it at 4.5. So I dropped it a game from a year ago. So
even though they play one more game.
They play one more game, but the prediction for North Carolina A&T this year is woof. The ratings they're predicted to go 3-9 this year, Drew. 3-9.
I'm going under.
You're going under 4.5. So 4 wins, though,
yes.
Drew, will cover you. 4 wins.
I don't see it.
I'm seeing it coming in hard and heavy. Under.
Winston-Salem, maybe Campbell.
even go under.
After you get past that, I don't know.
Hey, I'll say this: going from 1 win to 4 is an improvement. So if you have 4, you've improved, right? From a 1-win season, there's all kinds of, you can go high, but I don't think that 5, you guys who were saying, I said it at 4.5. I'm saying
Lawrence,
under.
you can't go even with 4.5.
You can't go 4.5, no. Lawrence. That's why I said it at 4.5. So either you think they're going to win 4 games or less, or 5 games or more.
A&T, Roy, it's not that we don't know what y'all have. It's that we kind of know what everybody else has.
Give me the 5 games, like A&T Roy or Jeff. You guys who are going over, tell me the 5 games. What are the 5 games? Put them. What are the 5 games you win? I just want to keep an eye on those 5 games. And Lord
Look,
help me if you say
even Ram Nation said they haven't beaten Winston-Salem since 2009.
Look, thank God that game is early in the season. When is that game? Let me see. That game is week 2.
Week 2, after they played Wake Forest. The good thing
Hey, now
is they're playing Wake Forest on a Thursday night, so they have a couple extra days to recover.
A&T is predicted to win that game 42-7 over Winston-Salem. If they don't beat Winston, look, they don't usually set lines when you have Division-I versus Division-II teams, but let's just say conservatively, Drew, let's give that a four touchdown spread, right? 28 points. If A&T doesn't beat Winston-Salem by 28 points, what's the rest of the season looking like?
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I was supposed to hit the mute button, not the camera button.
All right, so Winston-Salem sent. Stop it. You really think y'all gonna beat Central, North Carolina Central? I'm questioning even the South Carolina State game. That's a big wish.
I'm questioning Hampton.
Look, if A&T, Roy, if A&T, those 5 games, you might be worthy of of HBCU football national champions if y'all do that. If you all beat those 5, if you beat those 5 teams, 7-8 wins is realistic. I don't see that happen. Oh my God, the talk here. The day Aggie pride died. Wow. All right, well, there it is. Okay, so I set it at 4.5 for A&T. Let's go over to Hampton. They're Colonial. Is it Colonial? Coastal. They're Coastal Athletic Association brethren. Now, Hampton. Last year they went 5-6. They were predicted to go 2-6-1 last year. We set the BCS line at 3.5. I think we all felt good about Hampton last year. We all went no, check that. We all went under last year. We didn't feel so good about Hampton. We all lost that one. We all went under and we lost. Hampton proved something to us. This year, though, Hampton's predicted to only go 3-9, Drew. The only games Hampton's predicted to win are those HBCU games. Honestly, no, that's true. But I'm a little more bullish on Hampton.
Wait a minute. They're not even predicting to win all of those because they've got 5 HBCUs on their schedule.
You're right. They're predicted to lose to North Carolina A&T, which is surprising to me. They are predicted to lose to A&T. They're even predicted to lose to Howard, which they never lose to Howard. So I know that's wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's wrong. They don't lose to Howard. They own that H. So if nothing else, they're going to win that game. So I'm a little more bullish about Hampton because I think when I look at Hampton versus North Carolina A&T, Hampton has a better quarterback and a better running back. Sure, they got a new coach, but I'm more in line with Hampton.
A coach who was not there in the spring.
Okay, I get it. Yes, I get it. Talent, though. Look at the talent. You got to think about the talent. You got to have a quarterback. You got to have a running back. I think Chris Zellis might be the best quarterback. I still believe Chris Zellis might be the best quarterback in HBCU football this year. I'm just saying. So I set the line at 5.5.
He's definitely top 2. He's definitely top 2.
I set it at 5.5. So the question is, again, 12-game schedule. Hampton went 5-9 last year. They go over or under 5.5. Hampton, 5.5. Over or under 5.5.
I'm going conservative. I'm going to go under.
Ooh, below 500 a year, huh?
Say it again.
I said you're saying you're going under. You're saying less than a 500 season this year.
I mean, let's look at it. They're not predicted to win anything but those HBCU games. But it's not like they playing any punk HBCUs on their schedule.
Exactly. They played Morgan State to open the season. Virginia Union.
They
That's
play
not going to be
Union.
easy. It's not going to be easy.
That's not an easy game.
Norfolk State.
Norfolk.
That's going to be a 3-point spread. Howard. The first 4 games, Hampton schedule. Morgan State, Virginia Union, Norfolk State, and Howard. That's the first 4 before you get into conference play and have to play William and Mary. Right? I mean.
Yeah. The one thing that helps is that they're playing A&T coming off of a bye. One thing that hurts is A&T is also coming off a bye, and that's their homecoming.
Yeah. Hampton's also got, I just think there's an overrating of some teams in the CAA. Hampton is not predicted to be a favorite when they coming out of that A&T game when they have to play Elon, Villanova, and Richmond. There's some, I don't know, man. I'm just a little more bullish about. I could see Hampton winning 7 games this year. I could really see Hampton.
I would love to see Hampton win a 7 games, but I am not putting my heart. I'm not putting my heart on money.
Yeah,
on that.
Yeah, I agree. Hampton has an easier CAA schedule. So what's your final prediction here? You said under, right? Is that what you said?
I'm going under.
All right. So I'm going over. So that's the first one we disagree on. We both agree going over on Tennessee State 5.5. We both agree under on North Carolina A&T 4.5. We both agree. We split on the Hampton 5.5. Interesting. All right. Now let's go to the MEAC because Jamie and I already did the MEAC, but I'm going to give you an opportunity here to go through and you'll hear what we did. So let's start in the MEAC. I'm going to start with the lowest rated team in the MEAC, and that's Delaware State. Delaware State last year 1-10. This year they're predicted to go 1-10 again. I set the line at 2.5 wins. I think 2.5 is the most respectable lowest.
Under.
Okay, you want to hear the discussion? We just go to under. All right, so yeah,
keep going.
Jamie and I both agree. We go under. We go under 2.5. 2.5 is the line for Delaware State. If anybody out there thinks Delaware State goes over 2.5, let me know. All right, let's go to the next lowest rated team in the MEAC. And that's Norfolk State. Kind of surprising, right? Maybe. They went 3.5. They went 3-8 last year. They were predicted to go 2-8-1. The line was 3.5 last year. Norfolk State is actually predicted in a 12-game schedule to go 2-10. I set the line at 3.5 this year. Both Jamie and I went over. Again, Norfolk State with 19 returners. 19 returners.
I concur.
Walter Harley says under. Really, Walter? 3.5 is low. I think I'm shading them some. Yeah. Edwin says they can get 4 wins somewhere, right? Should be able to.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next lowest rated team. Everybody's darling, Morgan State. Everyone loves Morgan State this year. 4th rated team in the MEAC. Went 4-6 last year, which was an improvement. They were predicted to go 1-9-1. We set the BCS line at 3.5 last year. I think we all went over when I look at that. Yeah, we all predicted over, and we were right. I'm up in the ante this year on Morgan State, Drew. I'm putting the line at 6.5 wins for Morgan State. 6.5, yes. Now, 12-game schedule for Morgan. 6.5. So I'm talking another big jump in year number 3 under Damon Wilson. How much love do you have for Morgan? Jamie went over, I went under, and I think my under was really kind of shading it at a 6-6 season, which is 500. So, but Jamie's a little more bullish. He goes over. So 6.5. What do you think?
I'm gonna give him 75.
You're going over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Again, the line is 6.5. Morgan's schedule. And again, when you look at the schedule,
I've got it right here in front of me.
Okay, go through it.
At Hampton, at Hampton, Towson at home, Ohio at home, Virginia Lynchburg at home, Stony Brook. These can't all be home games. These got to be road games.
If you're looking at the schedule, White is away.
I'm looking at this right.
White is away. White is away.
Okay. At Hampton, at Towson, at Ohio, Virginia Lynchburg at home, at Stony Brook, Lincoln, Pennsylvania at home, Merrimack at home, bye week, Central away, Norfolk home, Delaware State away, South Carolina State home, Howard home. Still going over.
6.5 is the number. Drew's going over. Jamie went over. I'm going under. A lot of people going over. A lot of people going over with Morgan State this year. Wow. So you guys are.
And I'm going to tell you, the swing game is going to be game 1.
For who? For both Morgan and Hampton, I think, right?
Yes. That's going to be the swing game for both of them.
Okay. What I find interesting about Morgan's schedule is obviously you got to remember Morgan has a D2 and I don't know what you call Lynchburg, but you've got 2 sub Division-I opponents.
You got 2 wins.
But
you
I
have
think,
2 wins.
Look, if Morgan becomes the team that many of you guys are predicting, that means you feel pretty good about them beating Towson or Stony Brook.
They're going to catch them 2 in the, at least 2 in the MEAC, if not 3.
Okay. All right, moving over to the next, the third-rated team in the MEAC. Third-rated team, South Carolina State. New coach, Chennis Berry. Third-rated team in the conference. South Carolina State. Last year went 5-6. Of course, they were predicted to go 5-6. The BCS line was set at 5.5. I'm not coming off of that. I'm staying on 5.5 for this year. Predicted to they only play 11 games this year, Drew, which is kind of interesting. So take into consideration, they only play 11 games, but I'm sticking them at 5.5. Over or under? Jamie went over. I went under in the first year for Chennis Berry.
I'm going under.
You're going under.
South Carolina State schedule is not built for wins outside of the MEAC.
I agree.
They've got Fort Valley, and that is their easiest game. And Fort Valley is not an easy D2 opponent.
And I think there will be some carryover. Fort Valley knows Chennis Berry. I don't think, Chennis Berry and his staff are coming from Benedict. So what are you going to study if you're, Fort Valley State? You're going to look at game film. You know the staff, the attendance, right?
You've played them the last 2 years.
Yeah, I do think there's a couple of mispriced games or games there. I think there's a belief that I think I looked at it. The Citadel was a winless team a year ago.
The Citadel, you can get it. You can get the Citadel.
Yeah, I think that there's an opportunity. I can't wait for the point.
Georgia
I can't
Southern
wait for the spread on that game.
Georgia Southern's a different story.
Yeah, no. I don't think Georgia. No,
I think you can get Tennessee Tech.
they played North Carolina A&T. That's going to be. They're predicted to lose that game.
That's right. I don't think you're going into Tallahassee and breaking the home winning streak.
No.
So if I give you the Citadel, I'll give you. Well, now let me think about this. If I give you the Citadel, I give you A&T. If I give you Tennessee Tech, I give you Fort Valley. That's 4.
It's 4.
I'm gonna give you Delaware State. That's 5.
5. Yep.
That's 5. Can you beat any of the other 4 teams?
Down the stretch. The final 4 games for South Carolina State: home against North Carolina Central, on the road at Howard, on the road to Morgan State.
I'm flipping,
and home to Norfolk State.
They'll get Norfolk, because I think if Norfolk is out of it, they'll be going through the motions on that last game. They'll get Norfolk. I'm flipping.
All right. Okay. I'm sticking you with over then. So you're going to agree with Jamie instead of me. So you're going South Carolina State over 5.5.
Yes, I'm flipping. I just talked myself into it.
What home winning streak are you talking about, Dave? I know you're not talking about the one.
You home winning streak.
What? Come on, man. Stop it. Okay. The number 2 rated team in the MEAC, Howard University. Howard University, of course, MEAC champs a year ago, 6-6 record. They were predicted to go 6-5. We set the BCSN line at 5.5. Obviously, that final game of the season pushed them over. We all picked over, and so thankfully they got that last win of the regular season to push us over. The ratings for very bullish for Howard. Howard is a favorite in 9 of their 12 games this year. Again, they play 7 non-conference games though. And were they predicted to win the MEAC? No, they weren't predicted to win the MEAC. But whereas last year we set the line for Howard at 5.5, we upped the ante this year. I set it at 7.5. So Howard, 7.5 wins this year. I'm actually on the over for Howard. Jamie is actually going under.
I could see Howard getting 8, possibly 9 this year.
Okay.
Over.
You're going over?
Yes.
Looking at Howard's schedule, it kind of again, it's kind of a mishmash where they play a Rutgers team that's an FBS opponent. Then they host Mercyhurst. Mercy, Lord have mercy. And then they play a neutral site against Morehouse, and then a neutral site against Hampton.
Now, where's the Hampton game?
Huh?
Where's the Battle of the HU?
I think that's in DC. It's in like Audi Field or something like that.
Okay, it's because that game has been played in other places besides those.
Yeah, but I think it's they're playing Audi this year, which is where they played it last year.
Yeah.
They play Princeton. Howard's schedule to me just it reeks. I may be setting it too low at 7.5. But I'm trying to.
Howard has a FCS playoff schedule should they not win the MEAC.
Correct. I agree. But, you know, I'm going to tell you, the same thing I felt for Howard last year. The games that Howard, I think, really need to win out of conference. You have a stretch where you play Hampton, Princeton, Sacred Heart, and Tennessee State. Those are the 4 games that Howard plays before they get into MEAC play. If Howard is as good as we think they are, 3-1 really makes them an FCS level team. Should they end up in a tie situation like 4-1 again and miss out on winning the MEAC?
Here's the problem with that, though, Brian. They have 2 non-countable games on their schedule.
Okay, so then that becomes a 10 game.
They have Morehouse and they have Rutgers.
Yeah,
who do not count when it comes to FCS playoffs.
Okay, well, so it's a 1-1 split though. So you'll win one and then you'll lose one.
Right, but as far as making the playoffs, neither one of those games will have a factor.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. The top-rated team in the MEAC is North Carolina Central. Last year, 9-3 playoffs. They were predicted to go 7-4 last year. We set the line at 8.5. We were a little bullish about Central a year ago. Of course, Davius Richard. I mean, I don't know, the metrics weren't a fan, but we were. It went over. I think we all no. Looking back on it, Drew, you were the only one that went over. Jamie and I both went under, and we paid the cost for it last year. I think that was the one game that kind of hurt us, I think, in the standings. If I really look back on it, that should have been a layup. But we went under. This year, though, Central predicted to win 8 games, but we set the line at 7.5 this year for Central. So 7.5 is the line for Central. Jamie and I both went under. A 7-win season for Hampton in 12, and North Carolina Central is only playing 11 games this year. So I think that's one of those things that we have to qualify. They only have 11 games on the schedule. So 7.5 is the line. Jamie and I both go under. Looks like Emmett's right with us. Emmett's going under. Where are you?
7.5.
7.5. Looking at North Carolina Central, obviously they open the season neutral
Yeah.
site against Alabama State. Then they host Elon. They travel to Chapel Hill.
I'm
host
going over.
Aggies.
I'm gonna go over.
Neutral site against Norfolk State and Indianapolis. Then they travel to Campbell. Then they play Lynchburg. That's the sort of the preseason before they have to play Morgan State. So I'm sorry. What did you say again? What are you on?
You said 7.5.
7.5 is the number.
I'm gonna give 8. We're going over.
All right. A lot of mixed emotions and feelings there. Jeff's going under for Central. Lawrence is going over. Okay. So it looks like we are all over the place among you, me, and Jamie. The only ones that we agree on, we agree that Norfolk State will go over 3.5. And we agree that Delaware State will go under 2.5. Everything else is a split. You and I both agree that Howard will go over 7.5. Jamie says, you and Jamie both think that Morgan State will go over 6.5 wins. I say no. You are opposite Jamie and I on the 7.5 for Central. You're saying over 7.5 for North Carolina Central. Jamie and I say under 7.5. And then as it relates to South Carolina State, the 5.5 line, you go over 5.5 along with Jamie, and I go under. That's bold. That's a bold prediction, Roy. I mean,
it's possible. It's very possible.
Who are their
Alabama State, Elon, UNC, A&T.
No way. Elon was 0-11. Go look up Elon from a year ago. Elon was not good a year ago. I think that's the most mispriced game that I see the computers looking at. I can't wait to get some action on that one. Elon was horrible last year.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Let's take a break before we head to the SWAC.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. Come back with the SWAC totals over and under. This will be interesting. I know this is the first time that we're getting a chance to look at the over-unders for the SWAC East, SWAC West. We'll talk about those on the other side. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a second.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Hey, y'all all come down here. Turn off the lights, turn off the TVs, unplug everything. Y'all come down here and sit down while it's raining. Sit down, let the Lord do his work.
Dad, we hungry.
Look here, I ain't cooking no 3 or 4 different meals. You either gonna eat what's about to get cooked or you're gonna go to bed hungry. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Boy, look, I might have been born that night, but I wasn't born last night. What happened? All right. You better watch yourself, boy. I brought you in this world and I'll take your behind out.
Vontae was talking too.
Boy, if your friends go jump off a bridge, are you gonna go and jump too? You doing your homework? One thing, while you're up here blasting J. Cole and Drake and Ride Wave, you better know that dadgum homework like you know these dadgum song lyrics. That's all I know. Son, did you hear me?
Huh?
Boy, if you can hum, you can hear. You heard me. So tell me what happened at school today.
What you mean?
Oh, okay, you don't know. Okay. Boy, you must think I'm boo-boo the fool. I said get that look off your face. Fix your face before I fix it for you.
Boy, I said hush it up before I really give you something to cry about. But, hey, quit running in and out of my house, letting all my air out, running up my light bill. Stay in and out.
Can we go to McDonald's?
Can we go where?
McDonald's.
What, you got McDonald's money?
No, sir.
Yeah, I don't either. No, get on out of my room. All right, we enjoyed y'all too.
Dad, can we go out to eat?
What? Go out to eat? Boy, there's food at the house. Get on out this door.
You must think I'm boo-boo the fool. Boy, black jobs.
How many did your mama and your daddy say to you, Brian?
I'd say about 90% of those I've heard. Or what's worse is I may have, as a coach, I think I have said half of those.
Yeah, I know. The one about keeping the staying in or staying out. You letting all the air out the house. Man. The only one I didn't hear was you letting all the air out the refrigerator.
Close the refrigerator. You're letting the cold air out the refrigerator. Yeah, exactly. I want to go back and clarify something. And I appreciate A&T Roy for reminding me. I was a little harsh about Elon on that schedule. I got Elon and Citadel confused. Citadel was the team that was 0-11 that the Citadel was on whose schedule? South Carolina State.
Citadel is on South Carolina State schedule.
Yeah, they actually play the same week. That's what it was. Citadel plays South Carolina State the same week. North Carolina Central plays Elon. And Elon was a 6-6 team or 6-5 team a year ago. Citadel was winless, but for some reason, the spread or the prediction is very low for South Carolina State in that game, and I think that's going to be I think South Carolina State, put it like that. If when that spread comes out, if you see anything around 1.5 to 2 or 3, put it on South Carolina State. I'm telling you now, put that money on South Carolina State. There's no way. Anyway, but yeah, okay. So, but anyway, Elon will be a favorite against North Carolina Central by about a touchdown. I would take those points with Central. But again, a lot of that's going to be based off what I see against Alabama State. So, my thoughts and feelings about North Carolina Central and Alabama State are likely to change after that week 1 game. If you get a close game, I'll be very bullish about both teams. But if it's a lopsided game, maybe not so much. Okay. Drew, did you put the link up there for that poll again? Did you put that in the chats by chance?
Yes. I put it in earlier.
Can you re-put it? Can you post it in again? Again, want to remind everybody to go vote on the poll. If you haven't already, take a second. MyBCSN.net/watch/polls. And so Drew's going to put that link there. Just take a couple minutes and vote. Let us know where the BCSN Game Time show should roll to. August 19th, we will be at Buzz Fest in Montgomery, Alabama. Then we head to Atlanta for the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and then down to Miami Gardens for the Orange Blossom Classic. Where else should we go after that? Well, your votes will help decide that. So go to mybcsn.net/watch/polls. Drew's going to put the link in the chats, Facebook, YouTube. If you happen to be on Instagram or watching us on X, you can go vote as well. So there's that poll. Take a second and go vote. Much appreciated. Appreciate you. And hit that thumbs up and like button. Some of you guys haven't done that yet. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up and the like button. Let us know how you're watching the show. We appreciate the positive feedback. All right. Polls. All right. We're talking over-unders. Over-under win totals. We just went through the 6 MEAC schools and the 3 independents. Now let's get to the other half of the Division-I teams, and that is out of the SWAC. You want to start West or East Division first, Drew? Who you want to start with?
Let's go bottom up.
Ooh, wow. Ooh, that's shots fired. I mean, you must be referring to the West, huh?
You said you're starting with the East, right?
Well, I asked you, do you want to start with the East or the West first?
Oh, I didn't hear it. It kind of skipped when you were saying it. Let's go East.
Okay, well,
the East is going to be a lot. I think the East is going to be a lot easier to figure out than the West.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In the East, let's start. As we do the rankings and the ratings, lowest to best. So obviously, the lowest rated team in the East would be Mississippi Valley State. They play a 12-game schedule. Last year, they went 1-10. They were only predicted to go 2-9. We set the BCSN line at 2.5 a year ago, and I think we all picked under. I'm just going to kind of look at it here real quick. Did we all pick under? Oh, I was a fool. I was more. Oh, what was I thinking? I went over. Yeah, that hurt me. Jesus, what was I thinking? Well, not much has changed. I'm going to set the line at 2.5. I'm not even going to tell you what they're predicted. I don't even know if Valley is predicted to win a game this year. But
under.
Drew wasting no time going under. Does anybody think they go over? Walter Harley's going under. Does anybody think Valley goes over? Can Valley get 3 wins this year? And if so, where? But anyway, 2.5, we're going under. Okay, next, the next lowest rated team in the SWAC East is Alabama A&M. Finished last year 5-6. They were predicted to go 6-5. Talk about losing that Magic City Classic. I think that's the one that cost them. We set the line at 5.5. And last year, we all went under, and we were all right. This year with 12 games, a 12-game schedule, 6-6 schedule, I'm bumping the lineup, Drew. I'm bumping the lineup a game. I'm going 6.5 this year.
I don't know why.
Alabama A&M, you going 6.5. You going over or under? Mary's under.
Going under.
Walter's under. Drew's going under. Ooh.
They need to be careful. They need to be careful that they don't mess around and lose to Kentucky State.
Well, okay. Let's talk about that. They open the schedule against Auburn. Then they have a pair of Division-II games against Kentucky State and Georgetown College. Come on, Drew. If they're losing those games, something's really wrong, and they really will be looking for a new coach.
Coming off of Auburn. That's when the D.
I don't care.
Coming off of it, FBS.
Not
is when a D2 can catch and an FCS.
It depends on the
just
D2.
For full
Drew.
Context, Kentucky State has Virginia Union that week.
Huh?
I say Kentucky State has Virginia Union week 1.
Okay. I mean, what are you telling me? Are you optimistic about Kentucky State? You must be optimistic about it for even
no.
For you even think.
No, I'm just saying that is a trap game. That is a game that if Alabama A&M is not careful, that they will lose. You must haven't seen Kentucky State go in and beat Jackson State.
You holding on to that? I like that. That was good.
Oh yeah,
I remember it. I remember it. I think that was a different Kentucky State team, and I think that was a different Jackson State. But I get you.
You must have forgot what Lane did to Tennessee State. You must have forgotten what Alabama State did. I mean, what Miles did to Alabama State last year.
Is this the okay? If you got one Division-II versus FCS, Drew, is this the one that you're circling? You sound like you're planting your flag on this one.
Oh no, I'm not going that far.
Okay, well, stop it then.
But it would be a candidate. I don't know if that's the game. I'd have to look at the rest of the schedules to see.
All right.
But
There's a
it definitely
topic.
would be a candidate.
There's a topic for next week.
That's
The
the
most
topic next
likely
week.
Division-II versus
Upset.
FCS games. The most likely upset game is what? You're going under. Damn. 6-6. Can they go
Are
7?
they gonna get off the P?
I'm going to go under because I think they finish 500. I think 6-6 is where they are. 7 or 8 wins. I don't know. I don't feel that good about Alabama A&M wins 7 or 8 games. I see a couple people putting 7. Alabama A&M at 7. Well, okay. Let me see. Neutral site against see, they got neutral sites against Jackson State and Alabama State. They got Bethune at home, Southern home, Grambling home.
Let me tell you something about that Jackson State game.
Tell me, I'm listening.
You know where the Jackson State game? You know where the Jackson State game is being played, correct?
Mobile.
You do realize that Jackson, Mississippi, is an hour and a half closer to Mobile than Huntsville, Alabama is, despite the fact that it's in a different state.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, when I look at 6 wins for Alabama A&M, look, they got the 2 Division-II schools. They got Valley and UAPB on the road. That's 4. Where is it going to come from? You think they got Southern and Grambling. Now, they host Southern and Grambling, but I might be a little more bullish about Southern and Grambling this year. Bethune. I don't think they're going to win the Magic City.
I do not. I think
Edwin,
Bethune gets
really?
Grambling gets.
With that kind of record, Edwin, I mean, the Alabama A&M is in the player for the SWAC championship. I don't know who those 3 losses are. Maybe those 3 losses are to Jackson, Alabama State, and FAMU. I don't know, but 9-3. Ooh, Jesus. Okay, let me move forward here. Bethune-Cookman.
If they get that, wait a minute. If they get that conference record that he's saying, that potentially puts them at 7. If you add Kentucky State and Georgetown.
He already said 9-3 overall, so he's going over.
No, I'm just talking about the 7 that they would need to.
Oh, yeah.
To get over, because if they go 5-3 in conference, you get those 2 non-conference. That's 7 right there.
Okay. Where are we at? Bethune-Cookman is next up. The 4th rated team in the SWAC East. Bethune-Cookman went 3-8 last year. They were predicted to go 2-9. I set the line at 2.5. It did go over a year ago.
Over.
We all picked under.
We
all picked under 2.5 last year, and we lost out by a game. So Bethune plays 12 games this year. I'm pushing the line up a couple of games to 4.5 for Bethune. 4.5.
I'm going over.
Any particular reason?
They could look up and beat South Florida.
Stop it. Okay,
but Mercer.
They've got
Atlanta.
They've got USF and Western Michigan. They got Mercer, and then they play Clark Atlanta. They may not see a win until the Clark Atlanta game in week 4.
I can see them going 2-2 at it, doing that. All right. And then what's our number again?
4.5. 4.5 is not uncheap. I agree. What Edwin said, 5 and 7. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, he did, EA. Yes, he did. I don't know where he sees that at, but he sees it. You must have 20/20 vision or something. I'll go over as well on Bethune. I think 5 wins is realistic. I think an improvement with Coach Woody from a year ago. Again, they were 3-8 last year. Predicted 2-9. They went 1 game over. This year, they're predicted to go with only 3 wins this year, but I think Bethune can get 5. Put it like this. If I'm going under Alabama A&M, it's because I'm thinking Bethune can get them in a head-to-head matchup. So there it is. Okay. Third-rated team in the conference. That would be the team that was picked to go first and win the East, Alabama State. Now, what's funny, Alabama State went 7-4 last year, predicted to go 6-5. We set the BCSN line at 5.5 a year ago. We all said over. It went over. However, this is an interesting year, Drew. 12 games. Alabama State is not predicted to finish 500 this year. But since they are the SWAC East predicted #1 team, I'm setting their line. I'm giving them the respect that other people seem to have. I'm setting the line at 7.5 for Alabama State. Seven and a half for Alabama State. Alabama State playing North Carolina Central to start the season. Then they play Miles. Then they play Samford. Then they've got Bethune hosting FAMU, hosting Valley. Pair of neutral site games against obviously the Magic City, and then even the Alcorn State game is a neutral site game. Is that in Mobile as well? I don't know where that game is being played at. And then, of course, they got Tuskegee at the end of the season. Ooh, 7.5. That's a lot, Drew. I can't hear you, Drew.
I'm sorry. I'll have myself on mute.
That's
in their last 8 games, Brian, they lead the state of Alabama once. They have 9 of their 12 games are in the state of Alabama. I gotta go over.
Ooh-wee.
If you have a schedule like that, you better go over. You got 9 of your 12 games within your home state.
Mike said they only went 8 if they beat Jackson State.
That still puts them over.
I don't know. Is that what I'm saying? Their floor is 8-4? Is that what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what I'm saying. They're only predicted to go, again, the #1 team is predicted to go 5-7.
I'm going over, Brian.
You're crazy. I'm going
Seven of your last 8 games are in the state of Alabama, including the last 3 in a row at home.
If they finish 7-5, good season or bad season?
Considering that you're predicted to win the SWAC East, that's a bad season. Unless that 7-5 gets you to the SWAC championship game.
I'm gonna go with the numbers. I'm gonna go with the again 5-7 prediction. I'm giving them 2 more wins. I'm giving them 2 more. So I'm gonna go under. So we'll be opposite on that one. You're going over 7.5. I'm going under. Jackson State is the second-rated team in the conference, 7-4 last year. Of course, Jackson was predicted to go 10-1. We set the line at 8.5. They went under that. New coach, first year as the head coach. A lot of ins and outs in those players. Let me see. What did we all? We all bet under. We all went under 8.5 and got that right. I'm not coming off of it because the metrics say Jackson State's going to have a great season. The metrics say Jackson State will be favored to win 10 of the 12 games they play this year. That's right. Notice what I just said. Jackson State will be favored to win 10 of the 12 games that they play this year. I'm setting the line at 8.5.
I see. I'll go over. I see 9 games just at a quick glance that they probably will be favored. I'm going over.
First game out the box, UL Monroe. I think that's a winnable game. I've said it before. I think that's a very winnable ball game for them.
I do too.
Yeah.
UL Monroe. I mean, they realistically are 3-0 going into Grambling.
Yes, because they got UL Monroe, Lane, and Southern. Yeah, that's interesting. They've got Texas Southern on the schedule this year. Again, they host.
They could very.
Host. Well, no, they don't.
They could very realistically be 5-1 going into the bye.
Damn. I need to really evaluate this. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I see 5-1. You're saying 5-1 before the bye week, which then leads into the FAMU game.
Yeah. Yeah, they could. I can see them 5-1 going into the bye. Minimum 4-2.
They've got a 3-game stretch after FAMU where they play Bethune, UAPB, and Valley. So even after losing at home to FAMU, they still get a chance to rebound with 3 winnable games before they have to play Alabama State. Damn.
And then you end with the Soul Bowl.
I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna say 8 wins is the mark. You're gonna go over. I'm gonna go under. 8.5. I'm just going under 8.5. So I mean, 8-4 is a great.
You got 8-4.
I got 8-4. I got 8-4. I just don't. I got to really ask myself, who are the losses to? Okay, so let's keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Okay, if I'm saying they'll lose to FAMU, they have to travel to Alcorn. I'm adding that as a loss. And Alabama State is on the road. So here's the thing. Either Alabama State or Grambling, they have to travel to. One of those two is going to catch them. And then if they stumble out of the blocks and lose to UL Monroe, there's the 4 losses.
Well, let me ask you this. Where did I go with Alabama State, Brian?
Well, the line was only 7.5. You went over.
All right. I've got to balance that with an under with Jackson State. Because I think that game will be.
There's a game difference, though. There's a game difference.
But I think that game will be the difference. We'll put Alabama State over and Jackson State under.
All right. So you're with me. You're going under 8.5.
Yeah.
I don't know, Israel. Y'all got to go on the road this year. You beat him at home last year, right? Okay. Again, Jackson State will be favored in 10 of the 12 games. And just so people know, for all honesty and transparency, they are not favored against FAMU. Preseason, they are not favored, even though they're at home. So moving to FAMU, 12-1 a year ago. Last year they were predicted to go 10-1. We set the line at 8.5. They went over. I think we all thought it would go over. This year, FAMU, they played 12 games, including 2 FBS opponents. They are favored in all 10 of their non-FBS games. Again, Jackson State also favored 10 games, but there's a difference. FAMU is favored in all of their FCS games, including road games at Jackson State and Alabama State. And I'll add this one little point, extra nugget here, Drew. In terms of percentage opportunity to win, I think in 9 of those 10 games, they're predicted to win at a rate of 70% or higher. The line is 8.5 for FAMU. Again, taking into consideration they play 2 FBS opponents. So the question is, do you believe FAMU can win 9?
They only leave them with one other loss.
Correct. So I'm factoring in either you think they lose to Alabama State or you think they lose to Jackson State. If you take the over.
Who are the crossover games? I'm just curious. Southern, Texas Southern, Prairie View.
Prairie View's on the road. Texas
I'm going
Southern.
I'm going under, Brian.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you where it's gonna be at. The fan will lose one of those games, Alabama State or Jackson State. We're gonna have the 3-way ABB, BBC, and ABC type thing going on this year in the SWAC East. So FAMU will lose one of those games. I think they're gonna lose to Prairie View. I think they will go on the road and lose to Prairie View. I think FAMU holds.
EA thinks so too. EA's got that. He's got that as the slip up game.
Yeah, I think FAMU serves home court this year. They've got Valley, Texas Southern, Alabama A&M, and South Carolina State. I think they extend the home winning streak to 25, but somebody's gonna catch them on the road in conference.
That's interesting note here by Edwin. He's got FAMU going 6-2 in conference, but losing the tiebreaker to Jackson State and Bama State. Is that possible? I'm assuming
that's what I said. You're gonna have one of those ABB, BBC, and CBA type situations. I think all three of those teams will drop a game to each other. Jackson State, Bama State, and FAMU.
I think the difference is real. The game against Jackson State is the game of the year. Circled as game of the year. Number one game. All respect to, I know everybody's going to be high on the Orange Blossom Classic at the beginning of the year, but the game of the year is FAMU at Jackson State, October 19th. Don't let anybody tell you differently. And that's why even EA says them going to Prairie View at the end of the season after you've kind of maybe wrapped up the conference division, that could be where you stumble. But I don't know. I'm going over. Drew's going under. That's correct?
Yes, I'm going under.
All right. So the East
recap. Hurry up and get to the West.
Yeah, we both agree on under 6.5 for Alabama A&M. We both agree on over 4.5 for Bethune-Cookman. We both agree under 8.5 for Jackson State. And we both agree under 2.5 for Mississippi Valley State. That means we are split on Florida A&M and 8.5. I say over, you say under. And then we're opposite on Alabama State, 7.5. You say over 7.5. I say under 7.5. All right. SWAC West. Here we go. Lowest rated team in the SWAC West, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Last year they went 3-8. They're only predicted to win a pair of games this year. I'm going to set the line at 3.5.
Under.
For Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Under.
I was just looking at
they got it. They got to win against NAIA Arkansas Baptist.
2.5. 2.5 was the line last year. You went over. Jamie and I went under. So yeah, we missed that.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was smoking that day.
You got it right though. They went 3-8. Arkansas.
I still don't know what I was smoking.
I'm going over. You know what? I think I'm believing this is a belief. This is a 4-win season with Coach Hampton. I'm gonna buy into Coach Hampton. 4, maybe 5. I'm gonna go 4, maybe 5 wins with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Okay. Next lowest rated team is Texas Southern. They too also went 3-8 a year ago. They're predicted to actually win 4 games this year. First year head coach Chris Dishman. They lost a lot. 4.5 is the line for Texas Southern this year. 4.5.
Under.
I agree. I'm going under 4.5. I'm going under. Yeah. Somebody says 3-8. Mary says under. All right. So we both agree there. Okay. Next up, let's see. Ooh. This is a team that we were just talking about. Prairie View A&M. Prairie View. This is one of these anomalies, Drew. Last year they went 6-6. West, I think they won the West the last 2 seasons. The computer and the metrics, they're not a big fan of Prairie View this year. Only predicted to win about 3 games on that 12-game schedule. I'm a little more, I don't know about that. I think I think they're better than that. But I'll set the number at 5.5. 5.5 for Prairie View. Question is, do you agree or disagree with everyone's prediction of Prairie View?
I got Prairie View doing some things in the West, so I have to go with the over.
I'm going over too. Even if they go 6-6 again. Walter's going under 5.5. So Walter, you're saying they only get 5 wins this year, huh? All right. Prairie View. Okay. So we both agree there. Okay. Next up, Grambling State. Grambling State went 6-5 a year ago. They only play 11 games this season. Predicted to kind of be right in that 5-6, 6-5 mark. Where last year though? Last year the line was 4.5. We both went over. They've got the offensive player of the year. They got a returning quarterback. Is 6.5 too high? Six and a half.
Yes.
Let me look at that. You think 6.5 is too high?
Yes.
They play
The half.
Louisiana.
It's the half.
It's the half.
It's the half.
Yeah. Then again, only 11 games. Tuskegee,
That's
Texas
why I say it's the
A&M,
half.
Commerce. Man, if they win that game. So you're going under?
I'm going under because of the half. 5.5, I'll go over. 6.5, I'm going under.
I'll go over. I think 7 wins is possible. Ooh, Grambling wins the West. Wow. Well,
Would not shock me. I mean, you got the preseason player of the year. You should be in contention.
Yeah, they do. Okay. Second highest rated team. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check myself here because I'm going to look at my numbers. Southern University last year went 6-5. So many of these teams were right in the same ballpark. Remember, last year you had 3 teams with 6 wins and then Alcorn with 7. So the West was kind of 6-5. This year, Southern is rated to win about 8 of the 12 games they play this year.
Ain't no way in hell.
Hey, I scratched my head at it too, but I set the line at 7.5.
Under.
No hesitation, huh?
Under.
I agree. I'm going under. I'm going under as well. Again, 7-5. 7-5 would come home for me, but 8 wins. When I look at the non-conference, though, for Southern, they open at McNeese State. They play Savannah State. They've got Jackson State. Again, that's a non-conference game, which I think they lose. And then they have a game against Nichols. That's the non-SWAC schedule. So if you only win one of those 4 games, which is Savannah State, what is that really saying?
It's saying under.
It's saying under. I agree. So let me see. What does Mr. Jackson say? 7-5 veteran coaching staff will help. Yeah, hey, look, 7-5 is not bad. It wins you to play 7.5. What's crazy is, Drew, and this is what you may agree or disagree with me on. I set Southern as the highest win total in this division. And I'll tell you why in a second. The top rated team in the division is Alcorn. Last year, 7-4. Alcorn is actually predicted to go 6-6, Drew. But I'll tell you what, among that prediction, Alcorn has 6 games where they are predicted to finish within a 3-point margin of victory or loss. So half the schedule is almost like a field goal toss-up. Right. So this was the hardest line to come up with. So the best I could do, Drew, is say 6.5, and you either say they go over 500 or under. And I guess you have to look at that entire schedule and say, is Alcorn worthy of the praise that everybody is giving them?
Okay, here's my problem, Brian.
Yeah.
Alcorn has gone, what, 5-3 the last 2 years in conference?
I don't have that in front of me to say yay or nay to that. So
They went 5. The best they've gone is 5-3.
Okay.
Because the West winner has gone 5-3. So we know they've gone nowhere better than 5-3 the last 2 years. They go 1-4 out of conference. Edward Waters. That's it. If they go with their standard 5-3, a victory against Edward Waters, that's 6. Where can I get another half game at? Where can I get another game at, Brian? You said 6.5, correct?
I did say 6.5. Yeah.
I cannot find another game.
Maybe
an upset against McNeese. Maybe. But I can't balance that. You know, usually you can find 2 halves to make a whole. I can't find anything better than 5-3 in conference, though. And the reason I'm saying that's what I've seen for the last 3 years is 5-3. So I have to go with that again. I have to go under, Brian.
I may have if this was 7.5, you'd still stay under. But if it were 7.5, I'd go under. But I'm going to go over 6.5 because
So
I
you
think
got
they
7.
can get, because here it is. If I'm saying, look at what I'm saying. I've got Southern's line at 7.5, and I'm saying under. So I'm thinking a 7-win season. But I'm also saying Alcorn at 6.5. Again, 6 games, half the season. 6 of those opponents, Drew, win or lose within 3 points. That's a toss-up. Those are toss-ups.
I understand.
So,
I understand, but I'm going 5-3 in conference, 1-4 out of conference.
Well, you can't be 1-4. You can't be 1-4. When you're saying 1-3 out of conference.
1-3, excuse me. 1-3 out of conference. I'm sorry, 1-3. 1-3 out of conference.
Yeah, he might be on to something. All right. So again, in the West, just to recap, Drew and I agree that under 4.5 for Texas Southern. We're also in agreement that under 7.5 for Southern, but we like over 5.5 for Prairie View. Then we're split overs and unders almost to a T on the following 3. Grambling State is 6.5. Drew says under, I say over. Alcorn is 6.5. Drew says under, I say over. UAPB is 3.5. Drew says under, I'm over. So yeah. And there it is. I will I'll have the graphics put up for next week's show. And so it'll be a little more visually appealing. Yeah, bring Jamie in. I'll put the schedule back up. I may have to go back and look at this again. I don't know. I'm doing this off of I'm gonna have to really so I like to put in. I've looked at these numbers again, but I want to see them again, and then do one more glance at them. But yeah,
and as a matter of fact, Brian, since we have a football expert on our show coming up. Coach Verossi, we need you to email your predictions in also. We're going to include you in this year.
Ooh. Yeah, that reminds me. I need to send him the schedule. But I got so many different matrices. I don't want him to look at it the way I look at it. The way you and I look at it, he may look at that like, what the hell is this, fellas?
Like, what the hell?
Like Vince Lombardi. What the hell am I looking at? You know. This is some
we need to clean it up.
Yeah, somehow I need to figure a way how to send this to him in a more user-friendly style, because you look at this and this is like him showing us plays, like, hey, I got guys going this way, that way. I'm looking at him like, okay,
man, just show me where you gonna throw the damn ball. That's all I need to know.
Right. like in Madden, which one of those is highlighted red or yellow? Who's my hot read? Doggone, yeah, who's the hot read?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we left some stuff on the table, Drew, that we'll have to talk about next week's show, because it is kind of late and we want to get out of here.
Going to some quick news and notes, just quick. 2 minutes.
We can do it in 2 minutes. Go ahead, fire away. 2 minutes.
Right. Just a couple of quick news and notes. First one, Allen University Athletic Director Jashon Cox resigns and is going to work at the University of Notre Dame. That's Brian's favorite FBS program.
Go Irish.
So congratulations goes out to Jashon Cox. Allen's going to begin their search for a new athletic director. And next Friday will be Mr. Cox's last day in Columbia, South Carolina. Also, Tariq Cohen, we all know him for the 295 that he put up against Alcorn in, I believe that was Celebration Bowl 4, if I have the numbers right.
Ooh, yeah.
That would have been the middle one, if I remember that correctly, of the A&T 3-peat when he put up the 295.
I thought it was the first one
against Alcorn. Was it the first one? May have been the first one.
It was the first one.
Anyway, we know he put 295 on. Okay. Anyway, we know he put 295 on Alcorn.
Yeah, basically.
But he's announced his retirement from the NFL this week. He was in camp with the New York Jets and played the bulk of his career with the Chicago Bears. Also, for those who've been keeping up with the Talladega GoFundMe for the gymnastics, you no longer need to keep up because they did not get to their goal. They did not get to 10% of their goal with raising right at $30,000 of the $500,000 that they needed to raise. And next time that we are on, Brian, we're going to have to get into this Kenneth Blakeney proposal. Howard University men's basketball coach Kenneth Blakeney offering 1/3 of the program for $100 million. So we're going to definitely have to get into that.
And let me give a shout out to Erica Rochelle. Those of you who don't know who Erica is or might not follow Erica on Twitter, she's a part of the HBCU Nightly family. She's a Howard grad. She hosted a Twitter Spaces on Friday. And I went back and listened to it, which is great that Twitter lets you do that, where you can save the recording and go back and listen to it like a podcast. Is excellent. I mean, it is a great discussion. She does a great job of moderating that. A lot of people, folks who join our chats and are heavily involved in HBCU athletic sports content creators were a part of that. Some great intel and information. The article was a part originally in the Washington Post, I think it was. But I've seen it also like on Front Row News, Front Office Sports rather. I've seen it on HBCU Game Day, but she did a great job. So if you want to hear from somebody who's in the know, and Erica, as it relates to Howard, Erica is in the know. She knows. So great conversation and discussion that she leads. I will retweet that out again because I think it's really worth listening to. as its own podcast. It's about 2 hours. So it was really fascinating, and it gave me a lot of questions. Like I said, we had wanted to talk about it tonight, but we kind of ran out of time. So yeah, definitely next week we'll talk. I'm gonna even reach out to Coach Blakeney. You know, he's been on the show a couple of times, Drew. So I'm gonna see if I can get Coach Blakeney on the show. Maybe he'll pop in and kind of talk to us, and we can get some more clarification, information, all of that stuff about this. So that's something I'll work on during the course of this week. But yeah, so shout out to Erica and shout out to HBCU Nightly. I think they're coming back. I think their show is tonight, probably going on right now. So shout out to those guys and gal. All right. That's all you got? That's all we got?
That's all I got for the quick news and notes.
All right, good deal. We've got NFL preseason football happening later this week. So be on the lookout as football is back. Everybody's in camp. They're playing preseason games. School is back in session. This is a beautiful month of August. Next week, we're going to talk about top 5 coaches on the hot seat. Maybe even kind of do a little more breakdown. If you like this, if you like the over-under segment, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up. And we may do this with the Division-II level. It's possible we could do it, but if there's no interest, we won't.
Just takes a little.
It's a lot of work.
Takes a little more.
It's a lot of work, and I'm trying to find a sports book that'll lay these numbers too. Maybe I'll just send these numbers out and kind of see. Hey, would you be interested in hosting these numbers, and would you bet on these? Maybe that's another thing we'll say. What's your best bets for next season? So give me some time to put the graphics and stuff together, and then we'll ask you guys what's your best bet. Edwin Moore, a few others, you guys really did a great job in the chat of breaking down the schedule. So we got to ask, what's your best bet for 2024? Keep it simple. Okay. Thank you to everybody for going and vote on the poll. Again, if you went to the website and voted, we appreciate you. Going to the BCSN game time poll there. There's the link again. It's in the chat room a couple of times. Thank you for going and voting. Be on the lookout for Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Tuesday and Thursday this week. The O&G Strike Zone on Wednesday. That might be juicy. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. There's a very interesting report coming out on Monday. Oh, boy, we can wait to see what happens. But so might be some, you know, the FAMU. This is the one. FAMU likes to keep y'all keep in the press. So there might be some information and content that you guys are gonna be chewing on for a couple of days out of it. But
I'm looking for those pink slips I have, Ryan.
Ooh, don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh,
yeah, but go back and check out any of the shows on the Black College Sports Network on the BCSN Pod Zone. If you missed Saturday's Carlos Brown show with Carlos and the panel, it is now available everywhere that you listen to podcasts: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Go listen to it. Go check it out. Our show will also be there as well. No, it ain't gonna be a controversy at this point, Edwin. It's only a controversy.
We just different. You know, Brian, the only thing that may delay this thing coming out tomorrow is a tropical storm.
But that's the perfect time to release it, because then you drop it out there on the tropical storm, and then, you know, can people see it? Can they get to it? They can't really talk about it because you might not have power. I don't know. I'm just saying it's like a Friday. It's like a news dump Friday.
Yeah, exactly. A hurricane dump is what we call that one.
Hurricane dump. There's a new phrase. There you go. All right, there you go. I say salute to Dr. Larry Robinson. His last day, his last few hours as the president of Florida A&M University. We say goodbye, Dr. Robinson, and we say hello to Dr. Timothy Beard, who'll be the new president on Monday. And we'll see what kind of sweeping changes might be coming to FAMU. Just keep your ears open.
Hey, everybody, after the outro, go to Twitter, switch over to HBCU Nightly.
There you go. All right. Little cross promotional plug for our friends. All right. Well, thank you to everybody for joining in and watching us tonight. For AD Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. You guys be well, be safe, have a great week. Be safe if you're in the path of Tropical Storm Debbie, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a hurricane.
Travel light, everybody. Well, holla.